Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my friends to a very, very exciting live stream. Today, we are taking part in a Call of Duty tournament. That's right, we're in a Call of Duty tournament as part of Asus ROG for the 60 Ultimate Show match, where we're going to be giving away a beautiful Asus 60 Ultimate phone to one of you guys. But we are going to be taking part in a Call of Duty tournament. This is a competitive tournament, and there's 4 teams. Your boy team MrDalekJD, we're going to take this. We're up against TSM Break. We're also up against, there's too many people. There's too many people to name. We've got Andalex and Pro Urzin. So we've got some pretty spectacular teams that we're going to be fighting up against. But I've got an incredible team here to help me win this tournament. I've got my friends Jake, Liam, and Deck. We're going to jump in and talk to them right now, see how we're feeling, how we're doing. But the live stream is actually not going to have me like talking and have my face cam on it. It's actually going to be the Asus ROG doing like a full-on production stream. So what you're going to see is them like shoutcasting, presenting everything. There'll be interviews with myself and the other captains during the matches. But it's going to be crazy. Hope you guys do enjoy this. Leave a like rating, because this is definitely something new that we don't normally do here on the channel. But very, very exciting stuff.
Welcome
here we go.
To the Asus
I'll leave it over.
60 phone ultimate show match here. We're about to get into some Call of Duty mobile action. My name is Infinity, and I'll be casting all of today's action. But I shan't be alone. I'll be joined on the desk today by my wonderful friend, not so wonderful sometimes, let's be honest, Andy. It's Enigma. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very good, thank you, Brody. I'm looking forward to watching some Call of Duty mobile today. We've obviously got 4 fan favorite creators here to take part in this and show us what this device is all about.
Yeah, indeed we have. And the entire reason today it is happening, of course, is for this wonderful new product which we're going to be bringing to everybody at home. It's a great phone for competitive Call of Duty mobile lovers. Andy, why don't we show everybody what this entire thing is about?
Yeah, indeed. So we've got ourselves here the phone on the desk, and it does indeed come in some very fancy packaging, but it's well worth it, because when we get to the phone itself, I mean, look at this thing. It is an absolute beauty. The portal that you've got here on the back is going to be something that allows you to place on the cooler that comes with it inside. And we run through some of the features that this phone comes with. I mean, we're talking 165 hertz refresh rate. We're talking 6,000 milliamp battery. This thing has got performance all over it.
Yeah, indeed. It's a wonderful. It's very sleek as well, right?
You
want your phone to play on that looks really lovely. And of course, we should mention at home. Of course, you can see it there on the bottom of our screen, right there. I'm going to try and point down, but sometimes I fail at these things. There are actually these phones to win as well at home, so you guys can enter that giveaway if you're interested. But let's talk about the Call of Duty mobile action we have ahead of us today, of course, because we want to show you guys what this phone can actually do, and we're going to do that with Call of Duty mobile. Andy, as you've already said here, we've got 4 personalities coming in here with their respective teams. They're going to be playing in a 4 versus 4 arena. Let's just kind of talk about the format here ahead of us today.
Yeah, so nothing complicated. Realistically, you're going to see it up on your screen. So Team MediaTek and Team Portal will play against each other. On the other side of the bracket, Team Air Trigger and Team 165 Hertz will play against each other. The winner of each will go through to the grand final. The loser of each will fall into our 3rd place playoff. And from there, we're playing then for the 3rd place, and then who will win the whole tournament.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be an epic, I think, battle here across that single elimination bracket today. Very excited to get into it. Of course, you and I, we love casting Call of Duty Mobile whenever we get the chance to do it. It's such a fun, wonderful game. It really is just the best of Call of Duty, kind of like the greatest hits collection, if you will, over the years. So really fun to see that, and you guys at home are going to get to watch some of your favorite creators play against one another today. Let's talk about then kind of how we expect today to go. I'm going to do something that you hate me doing, Andy. We have to do it on every broadcast we're on together, mate. I'm going to ask for predictions. Let's talk about kind of who we think is going to win. You know what? I'll go first for this one. I'm going to throw a curveball on you. I'm sorry. Normally I give you priority, but I'm not doing that today. You know what? Out of the 4 players we have here today, I'm going to go with Pro Urzin. He's a professional Warzone player. Usually those Call of Duty skills, they are transferable across the various Call of Duty esports that we have. I have no doubt today that he's going to do a good job in Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah, it's a very fair point. I, on the other hand, am going to apologise to who I predict because I tend to land the curse on whoever I do choose. So for me, I'm going with MrDalekJD. He's a man who's been around Call of Duty for a very long time. You spoke about those transferable skills, and this man has definitely shown he's got plenty in the bag when he has done zombies content in the past and so on. So I'm expecting him to bring it today, show what he knows about Call of Duty. And as you said, we are going to be playing, of course, some of the best hits from the past, and he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, indeed he has. Well, almost a decade, right? And to be fair, I presume all of these players in one way or another are well versed in the language that is Call of Duty Mobile, of course. And beyond those two, we can't count out the other players here, Break and Andalex, who are playing in today's tournament. Break, of course, a former PUBG player, I think, for TSM, and then Andalex, a Fortnite pro as well. So these guys, they know what they're doing. They've been able to play at the heights of competitive esports, and no doubt they'll have those transferable skills coming in to Call of Duty Mobile. So you and I mean, generally speaking, whenever we give predictions, we're wrong anyway, mate.
Yeah, unfortunately so. I do kind of worry, especially Dalek. Like I said, I have this bad habit of bigging a player up and talking about how great they are, and then it all goes wrong. So, I mean, look, I do apologise if it does indeed go to pants from here, but I'm sticking with my prediction. Dalek it is.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's take a look at the rosters for the very first match of the day then. Who do we have coming up? We have Team MediaTek versus Team Portal, of course, led by Break and MrDalekJD, respectively, and they have some players that they've brought along with them, Andy.
They do. So for Team MediaTek, we've got, obviously, Break himself, then Pretender, Diana, and Akimbo, and they're going up against Team Portal, which will be MrDalekJD, then Liam Twin, Jake Twin, and Deck.
Yeah, lovely names, of course. I always like find it funny whenever we look at sort of names of players. Well, what do they go with? Although I suppose you and I aren't to really judge as Enigma or anything. So, yeah, these are the players that we have here today. They're going to be going up against one another in the first game of the day. And again, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because we've seen kind of players in various different esports and in various different games. You know, MrDalekJD coming from Zombies originally as a YouTuber and kind of playing in sort of regular Modern Warfare 2. I think he played a little bit of the beta when that came out a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it wasn't a couple of weeks ago now. It's felt like an age.
Feels like it.
Since we played that. And then, of course, Break with PUBG. Like, how do you transfer those skills across to Call of Duty Mobile, where you've got this greatest hits of Call of Duty Mobile maps over the years?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we're going to get to see some fantastic mix of maps, weapons, and so on. A lot of you at home are going to be tuning in to see, again, a true rollback of some absolute classics. But what you mentioned there about people bringing in skill sets that they've got from other areas, this might be a show match, but make no mistake about it, we've got competitive players through and through here. Competition lives in the blood of these boys, so I'm definitely expecting some great games.
Yeah, indeed, and they are going to be playing on some of the best Call of Duty maps of all time. For anybody at home who is even remotely a fan of competitive Call of Duty or has been a fan of competitive Call of Duty over the last decade, no doubt you guys at home will recognize some of these maps ahead of us, one of which we already know what it's going to be, and it's going to be Takeoff Hardpoint for the first map of the day.
Takeoff then, okay, so we're talking then extremely mixy map. I mean, Call of Duty Mobile is very high-paced as it is. We're playing 4v4 today, not the 5v5 we've seen in the World Championships, but still expecting a lot of high-paced games. And then we're talking hills there, very, very dicey. You're looking for your players to just slay out, essentially. But can we get that rotation in for 3? We've kind of pre-highlighted this hill as the one that players want to lock down. And talking about Call of Duty Mobile, if you do get off to a good start, get yourself into 3, you've got things, score streaks, you've got specialists that can all come out and help you hold that hill. So there's your real money hill potential. Yeah,
indeed. I believe the maps number 2 and 3 as well for the remainder of the series will be Slums, Search and Destroy, and Raid Control, I believe is what I just heard. So if I'm wrong, I apologise. It's okay, I'm right. You know what? I knew I was right. I was very confident in it, which is, it never happens really, let's be honest. But those are the rest of the maps for the best of 3 that will be going on here between Team Break and Team MrDalekJD as well. So that's what you guys have to look forward to later on. But as you say, Andy, Takeoff Hardpoint, that is where we're going to be starting off. And again, you know, when it comes to Hardpoint, because you and I, you know, we come from a competitive Call of Duty background, right? You know, we're talking Call of Duty Vanguard was the last COD that you and I got to cast over. But Takeoff Hardpoint, I've had a chance to cast this in Call of Duty Mobile for the Latin America section of the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships, and it's kind of fun to see how the Call of Duty Mobile players actually play this map mode combination. But what I'm always intrigued by is how well these players are actually going to be playing their rotations. You know, we know how key that can be in Hardpoint, and in Call of Duty multiplayer or in Call of Duty Mobile. It's just so crucial, and I'm really intrigued to see kind of how early do you go for those rotations? Do you hit that sort of 20-second mark, or you know, do these players forget about it? I mean, it's really the question I have.
I think with the pace that we can play at here when it comes comes to Call of Duty Mobile, we can start to talk maybe a little bit later than your traditional 20, but you do want to get there early. I mean, make the job easy for yourself. Get yourself set up on a heady, communicate with your teammates about the angles that you've got covered. It's so much easier to do if you're the first one into the hill. It's a far more difficult job to break a hill. So, yeah, I definitely want to see that coming out of players. You know, we've got our content creators here. If they're going to lead things, they need to be communicating to the team about those rotations. Okay, boys, we're not in for this one. Let's get set up on the next hill.
Alrighty, well, it's time for game number 1 here of Call of Duty Mobile action. As we said, it's going to be Takeoff Hardpoint to kick off this best of 3. MrDalekJD is actually going to be in the left side of the screen, and Team Break here are actually on the right. So ignore the faces, they're actually the wrong way around as it currently stands. We'll get that fixed very soon for you. But into the game we go, and right away it's going to be the yellow team here, Team Break, looking for the first wave of gunfights. Diana in for 2.
Yeah, Team Break actually will get themselves in on this first hill, but as we spoke about before, it gets very messy very quickly over these opening hills, so expect this to trade backwards and forwards, and Mr. Dalek himself managing to get a kill to break in onto the hill.
It's going to be the Team Blue here. MrDalekJD looking to break on through, and they will be looking for a plethora of time. So still 30 seconds left here off the back of the first hard point for these teams to get. You can see in the kill feed, though, it's going to light up yellow here momentarily as Team Break going to, well, break on through. That's the only time I will use that joke today. I won't do it too much, to be fair, as they break on through now for a couple of kills. But just as I say it, MrDalekJD comes in here, clutches up for his team, gets a couple of kills, and that should be scrap time going the way of MrDalekJD. But as we said, look over toward that rotation. It is the yellow team. Team Break already there.
They are indeed. So can they get set up, though? Can they defend? Because currently the slayings all belong to Team Dalek, and you can see here Mr. Dalek just looking around, roaming around the back. He will be shut down, though, and all those kills mostly go the way of Team Break. So this is what we were talking about before. Can you get in? Can you get set up? This is a mixy hill, though. Still plenty of time to contest it.
Can get a wealth of time off the back of this one, and this is what we were wondering as well as we came into the game, Andy, right? Score streaks, what score streaks we were kind of expected to use, generally speaking, when it comes to the meta in competitive Call of Duty Mobile, excuse me. Generally speaking, we see the Hunt Killer Drone, the Predator Missile, and the Goliath suit, but here we're seeing RCXD cars coming out. I believe there's UAVs ready to go in the back pocket as well, so a little bit different to what we normally expect to see in competitive COD Mobile.
Yeah, 100%. That RCXD roaming around earlier on was an interesting spot. You got a couple of different pieces here, though, comes Predator Missile, will get a kill. And do these rotations now start to come in? As we hit the final 15, you can see a couple of Break players just rotating away, happy to sit back, and you will see that hill pop up for P3. So currently still a slight lead for MrDalekJD and his crew, but that gap is still very small, and we spoke about this next hill. This is where the main of the cheddar can be earned.
Yeah, and let's just explain to the viewers at home kind of why this is the hill, right? As you said earlier, Andy. Again, you get this hill early on, you will basically spawn right out the back in the alley, unless, of course, you get wiped pretty much straight away. So it's going to be a big break potentially coming through now from MrDalekJD, but Diana, who has already been clutched a couple of times so far in this game, now going to have that crucial annihilator to try and hold on towards the hard point. Unfortunately, all of their effort has been relatively mitigated, to be honest, because of the fact that MrDalekJD has managed to get his team on through. Liam Twin now in for 2. RC car making its way on through from Team Break, but again, not that effective. It is going to be Team MrDalekJD who have managed to make their way through.
It is indeed, and that's concerning if your Team Break. You've got this locked down, it looks good, but you then lose a couple of crucial gunfights. RCXD doesn't let you back in, and you've invested in Annihilator to try and hold that on the defense. A lot of give up of utility there, sorry, apologies, from Break, but MrDalekJD will be in the lead as we start to look then towards P4.
Potentially a crucial break coming through now in the late stage of this hard, but that game's come through with a triple, and that will shut that one down. But again, look at these spawns coming through now from Team Break. They've spawned pretty close, but MrDalekJD, is he there to stop this one? He does attempt it, only able to get the one frag before falling. So it should be Team Break here to touch first on this next hill. And it's kind of interesting in a way, because generally speaking, we talk about hill 3 and 4, the hill that preceded this one and this hill. You can get them back to back, but Team Break here might have something to say about it. As I say it, though, MrDalekJD, Liam Twin, Jake Twin, all getting frags to their name. It is Team MrDalekJD who have broken through.
Yeah, Team Break might have had something to say about it, but Mr. Dalek's team do not care. They shut all of that down. Deal with it, but look at the pinch coming in here from Diana. Round the back, those spawns have come on in, and did DalekJD read this at all?
Well, here comes the Death Machine, these specialists that are really crucial. You've got to use them correctly, and Jake Twin, he's already made a couple of frags out of it. Give him a third one right now. They're all lining up for him. Testy Tester's going to fall, now Pretender, the next player to try and find their way on through. But again, this is just such a stressful moment in time because we take a look at the overall scoreline here. Yes, all right, you can get this last 10 seconds or so if your team break, but you kind of have to start crawling your way back into this game, Andy, because right now you're down by about 50 to 60 points or so. That is a whole hard point. You need to have a good hold, I think, on what, this next hill?
Yes, you do indeed, and unfortunately, I'm going to look at that man akimbo. Currently has 1 frag. When your teammate Diana's rocking 18, you need to be stepping up a little bit more, helping your teammates out. Unfortunately, gets picked up by Liam Twin, and right now, this is starting to steamroll.
Yeah, this has to be good rotation, but I don't really know how much of that good rotation that we're expecting to actually see here from Team Break again. The frags are not really there, and if you don't have the foundations, you're not really going to have much to follow it. As you see the kill feed lighting up blue once again, it's Team MrDalekJD who have found their way on through. And I can hear some form of streak coming down. I'm not too sure what that is, but nonetheless, it is going to be Team Blue now trying to find their way in for the last 20 seconds or so. Again, this is scrap time, and again, this is one of those crucial moments. You've got to remember, on the first set of rotations, Andy, there was actually a pretty good rotation coming through from P1 to P2 from Team Break.
Yeah, the rotations themselves haven't looked too bad at all from Team Break, recognizing the fundamentals of Call of Duty Hardpoint. The problem, again, just lies in the slaying power. Everything just seems to be going the way of Team DalekJD, and Liam Twin will light up 2 more and get themselves over to P2 control.
Massive break, I think, at this point in the game. You know, this is a rotation that really Team Break did require. And now it's out of their hands. The potential for another full 60 coming out here from Team MrDalekJD, and what would really be the final nail in the coffin for this game. Liam Twin able to get 1, looking for a second. He will find it. It's the bloodthirsty medal for this man who has, well, played very well so far this game. A hunter-killer drone in the back pocket ready to go as well. And you're going to start to see some of these specialists coming out. And that is something that is important to note here, I think, for Team Break, is look at those specialists on board. They have an opportunity, if they use them correctly, to break on through.
They do indeed. But if we call ourselves back to the previous P3, they used an Annihilator and then didn't build anything off the back of it. It's got to be different this time around. If they do start to bring in those investments, they've then got to turn that into something. Diana with another big 2-piece, 3-piece, really trying to make something work here. RCXD is out, also has a hunter-killer available. There is opportunity here for Break. Just got to see them winning some gunfights.
This is the crucial rotation right here, right now. You can see Team Blue, they've already rotated correctly. RC car coming down. MrDalekJD, well, he's going to get that 1 out of the game. Now the blue team, they're ready inside this hill. This could well, I mean, they will not be able to finish it here. My maths is actually pretty good here at the moment, Andy, so I'm okay with that. But regardless, this is going to put a serious dent in the game if they're able to get this time. And MrDalekJD coming out with the War Machine now. This is when we can really start to see that effective kills with the streaks coming on through. And this is the reward you get for having a hell of a game so far.
Yeah, it is indeed. I mean, you've got Jake Twin there, sat with the Death Machine in hand. You've got a War Machine in hand. I think Liam's also running the Purifier, and he's got it available to him. This is becoming a very one-sided show indeed. Jake actually taking shots at his own teammates as the spawns change round for just a moment, but it's like lambs to the slaughter for now as Team Break struggling to find a way in.
Liam Twin in for 2 yet again. 10 seconds left here on this hill. It will get MrDalekJD close to that 250 point, the coveted 250 point marker, as Liam Twin comes in for yet another 2-piece, which has been, well, there are countless double kills so far in this game, Andy, but just 14 points is required here. And as we look over towards the rotation, you can see it on the minimap. Team MrDalekJD, they're already there.
Yeah, indeed. A lot then for Team Break to do. Can they get in? Can they make this contested at least once? Twin will pick 1 up with the hunter-killer drone, and Diana's going to try and burst in through the front, picks up 2, but will fall. And surely then, your final points right here on the board. 250 to 112 is how it will finish. Started kind of close, but we saw throughout the mid-points there, throughout the second set of rotations, the game got away from them.
Yeah, I just think, you know, it's very easy to let the game get out of hand like that, and we were talking about it kind of before we got into the game, right, Andy? That P3 to P4 rotation is so crucial, and by the way, I think we're using a bit of lexicon of Call of Duty knowledge here. P3 and P4 quite literally means 0.3 and 0.4 for those of you who don't know. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Nonetheless, though, yeah, again, it wasn't so effective on the first set, but I think when it came down to the second and final set of rotations there, it did just, it was the thing that I think that broke the camel's back, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout the first set of rotations, you're kind of okay. There was worrying signs because Team Break do get themselves in for that preferred P3, P4 lockdown, and then they never really get anything out of that. And also, you're talking about the investments of things like the death machine that you're seeing on your screen right now, those specialists and so on with your score streaks. Every time it seemed like Team MrDalekJD got a hold of something like that, they seem to capitalize off the back of it. For Team Break, not so much.
Yeah, it's just great utility usage coming out there from Team MrDalekJD, and that's when I think the key difference makers when it comes to Call of Duty Mobile is, you do get those specialist weapons. In this case, I think the vast majority of what we saw were the Purifier and the Annihilator. If you get them, you have to use them to break hard points. They're just so crucial in that map mode combination, and it just didn't work out there for Team Break. So now 0-1 down, and your backs are against the wall here. You got to remember, Andy, this is a single elimination bracket, so you lose this best of 3. Well, unfortunately for you, you'll be down into the third place playoff matchup. There's no second chances.
No, there isn't. It is quite literally a very brutal bracket here that we've got. You do not get many chances, and with that, we will see the scoreboard come up then. Mr. Team DalekJD 1-0 up. Again, this is a best of 3 series to start us off, so the next one's going to be the Search and Destroy.
Yep.
Team Break have got to show something. There was a lot of fundamentals that was good in that hard point, right? They were hitting a lot of early rotations, and we've seen across Call of Duty Mobile, various other Call of Duties, if you're showing good fundamentals, that can carry well into a Search and Destroy.
Indeed, and the other thing I think we always consider when it comes to competitive Call of Duty matches is the momentum swing, right? You're having a really good game, the vibes are high at the end of game number 1 because of how well, not just that you won the game, but how well you won the game, right? It was a massive victory there for Team Portal, MrDalekJD and co. And they are going to be able to momentum swing that into what will be a Slums, Search and Destroy. Let's talk about this map mode combination specifically. It's an oldie but a goldie, all the way from Black Ops 2. We got to see a reprise of it in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 as well, but only momentarily. I don't know if you remember, to be fair, Andy, because it was in like the competitive rotation for a very, very brief moment. But you guys can see the players as well behind us. A Break is oddly still.
Yeah,
well.
very, very still. Yeah, especially probably humbled by the state of map 1, unfortunately. Whereas DalekJD, you can see the smirk on his face right now, clearly enjoying himself. But yeah, Slums S&D, I mean, a fan favorite from Black Ops 2, I want to say. It's been around for a very long time. Hello, we have indeed Mr. DalekJD there, very excited. Hits the dab, so
yeah. I wouldn't expect you to do that. Yeah,
I'm not gonna do that.
I thought I might get one out of you, but no. Okay, fair enough. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah, Mr. DalekJD, you can see the vibes are high there after a map number 1 victory. And again, we talk about momentum swing going into the Slum, Search and Destroy. How much of a difference is that going to make? And again, I kind of want to bring that conversation back to that point when it comes to the Slums S&D. What are we really expecting to see here with this map?
I mean, I think the way in which the map plays out, I mean, it's kind of tough to transfer over, but I'm looking for the play styles of the teams to adjust now. For Team Break, you saw that you weren't really up there when it came to the slaying side of things, so I want to see team hits. I want to see concerted efforts. I want to see a game plan come out. Don't allow Team DalekJD, don't allow Team Portal to bully you into a corner and very much so put you under the cosh here. Got to see those big confident plays coming out and trying to get some opening picks, which is huge in Search and Destroy. For those of you just checking in with us who don't know, if you die in Search and Destroy, you don't come back until the next round. So getting an early kill and giving yourself that numbers advantage, huge.
We should probably clarify as well, Search and Destroy, the settings, the way this works. I believe it's a tad different to what you would normally expect again in a competitive Call of Duty mobile matchup. I believe this is the first to 6 as opposed to first to 7. The one thing I'm kind of unsure of actually is if we're putting the win by 2 in, because like regular Call of Duty competitive rules, we don't have that. It's just you go to round 11, you get this kind of sick face-off. If you're, I've never thought I'd use the word sick on a broadcast, but I guess I just did it anyway. Yeah, so you've kind of got that really awesome potential face-off in around 11. But yeah, Search and Destroy, that's what we've got coming on up next. I'm really excited to get into it again. Slums, it's a classic Call of Duty Black Ops map. It plays so well. You've got bomb sites. I believe the bomb sites are in bricks, which is like in the middle of the map, and I think one might be outside blue, which is like close to the defensive spawn.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It might be far off.
I'm pretty sure that the way it's set up, at least in Call of Duty Mobile, is a bit more defensively sided, favoured. I'm assuming part of that might well be down to the movement speed and so on, but in order to stop you just getting straight across for a free bomb plant. But yeah, again, I go back to making sure you're getting the opening picks, confident gunfight strategies. Just good communication as well. There were times there where it seemed like Team Break were just not on the same wavelength as each other. So, yeah, I'm hoping to see them come out and put up a real fight here. Because, again, remember, they lose this one, they're down into the 3rd place playoff. No chance for them to come back, no chance for them to win. It'll be Team DalekJD going through to the finals.
Indeed it will. Well, game number 2 is about ready to get underway, folks. Slums Search and Destroy, that is what's up next here in this affair. And again, as Andy says, this could well be the end of the line, at least in the well, I wouldn't say the upper bracket, but it's not the upper bracket, is it? Just the entire tournament, I suppose, for Team Break. Let's see if they can bring things back from the brink, though. So we are going to see a game mode that's, I think, much slower pace here, Andy, right?
It is indeed. But that isn't going to stop Diana Challen, and that's the first blood that I wanted to see coming out nice and early. Picks off Jake Twin, a man who really dominated throughout the hard point, so an important player to shut down here.
Kill's already going down, and right now in the middle of the map, Liam Twin wants to get avenge his fallen brother. 2v2 we go. And now it's Diana left up in a 1 versus 3. They get the first kill on towards Deck Games. Looking for some more, but no, not going to find it. The shots were good, but not good enough. And it was the mid-pressure there in that round that really did separate the two teams.
Very unfortunate, because there's a universe out there where those two players cross over. Diana's going to happily pick that up. Looked very good in the first game. Definitely comfortable slaying out. So nearly there, but we're on board then with DalekJD himself for round 2.
Playing this defensively, you can see them cutting the map, making sure they've got players watching all 3 lanes here on Slums. Utility being thrown out by both teams, just getting a feel for where one another are. But one thing I will say at the moment, Andy, is the defensive side here, Team MrDalekJD, they're giving quite a lot of map pressure up to Team Break. They have the entire B bomb site to themselves. Yeah,
Diana, though, is just going to abandon the bomb plant and pick up 2 kills herself. Absolutely superb play there. Gets inside, will likely have given up information in regards to Deck being able to watch over that lane. Doesn't matter, Diana doing everything. Phenomenal play.
And they're the bomb carrier as well. Impressive work coming out, but now it's Jake Twin left up in a 1 versus 3. Has the RUS ready to go. It's basically an AK-74U for those of you who play regular Call of Duty. But no, Diana comes through and shuts things down. And what a round coming out from Diana. Just incredible work.
I'm pretty sure that's not only an ace, but all 6 kills that Team Break have right now on Diana. She's having an absolutely phenomenal map so far as we bring it back to 1 apiece. What a great play.
It's that overextension and the kills on the sideline through the middle of the map as well. You've got to remember, she overextended all the way through bricks. Now, though, the defensive side, will they learn from their mistakes? That's the question I have. Trip mine getting thrown out by Jake Twin, but it's snuffed out by Diana, who seems to know what she's doing. Shots going down again, but not enough for a kill just yet. But this is a threat and a half right now that Diana is presenting to Team MrDalekJD.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this, though, from Team DalekJD. Changed things around a little bit. Sent Jake Twin over there to deal with this instead of Deck. Unfortunately, Jake Twin will still fall. Diana picking up another kill.
Impressive at the moment is Diana, who will get, as you say, another kill there on towards Deck Games. And now 2 versus 3. It's Team MrDalekJD. Left up without the numbers in their favor. And now the man himself will have to clutch up, but just unable to do it. Diana!
Absolutely flying. I was about to say I was very impressed by Team DalekJD. They changed things up, spread themselves a bit more across the map rather than going heavy on the defense. Still, doesn't matter. Diana up to 9. We don't have score streaks in play when it comes to search and destroy. It's a good thing for Team DalekJD because Diana would be rolling in them right now.
It's like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger in prime. It's incredible. It really is.
Yes.
9 frags. Shout fragging the entire rest of the board combined, by the way, as well. MrDalekJD, though, wants to put a stop to that one. 1 kill onto Pretender. Hasn't quite got rid of the biggest threat just yet, though. However, that will give the numbers away now to MrDalekJD, and their map pressure a little bit relieved. But again, this is kind of the mistake they made a couple of rounds ago, Andy, right? They're giving too much away in terms of that B site.
Yeah, indeed, but bomb will go down, so this will delay any push. Diana will clean up Liam Twin, and up to 10 herself, but will she expect... And no, Diana does go down, by the way. Off-screen, Deck Games there, just getting themselves into the corner and clearing that up, so all on Akimbo.
Kimbo sitting on a donut at the moment, and well, not going to get off it at the end of that round. And again, it was a good adaptation coming through from Team MrDalekJD there, Andy.
Yeah, it got over-aggressive, recognized that nothing's coming in, really, and decides instead to get forward. Deck Games with a huge kill onto Diana, who has taken over this lobby well and truly. And it's going to be a split defense this time out of DalekJD. Actually, more B-sided for the first time this afternoon.
And a hit potentially coming through here from Team Break. They do have a clear path, but again, you never really know that. Of course, we here on the casting desk have luxury in the X-ray, but they do not. But it doesn't matter for Diana, who shreds the head of MrDalekJD. And now in a 4 versus 3 scenario, Liam Twin, they're ready for it. The clap's starting to come on through now, but now we go 2 versus 2. The trades are through now for Team Break. They're not done with the site just yet.
Yeah, and Liam's being forced to back off, but Dex got the crossfire and picks up Pretender, who's trying to get through. Testy is backed into blue and will fall. Wonderful stuff there. Very much so a slaying out, but I mean, I know we've spoken about it multiple times. That kill Diana picks up, she has absolutely no right. That was disgusting. Wonderful stuff.
See that one again in the replay package at the end. Without a shadow of a doubt. Team MrDalekJD here, they seem to have stabilized somewhat. I want to see a team get hyper-aggressive, you know. So far, I think we're seeing teams play a little bit too cautious on these bomb approaches. They have much more to work with than they at first realized. This time around, though, Team Break getting themselves onto the site. This is Akimbo here looking for the first frag in the game, but just unable to find it. And I believe that was a stun that just went out. Jake Twin in the kill feed. Going to get 2. Liam Twin in for the 3rd. And, well, Diana did get traded out. So now it's just Testy Test left up in a 1 versus 4. Has already got the first frag to work with here. But that kill, of course, will reveal their position.
Yeah, Testy here might well get picked up. Jake will clean the kill up. And for those of you who are watching at home, instead of traditional Call of Duty, we do flip backwards and forwards on offense, defense. In this, it works so that, well, in this example, we have 5 rounds of defense for one team, and then it flips. So that was the first defensive round for Team Break, and unfortunately, it did not work out well for them.
And they don't really have many more chances here, being 4-2 down. Only 2 rounds more, and MrDalekJD will win this best of 3. Shots going out now for Testy Test. This will be good if they can get that first frag off, but not enough for a kill just yet. So the tension's still high here on this B site. Potentially a plant now coming in from Liam Twin.
Yeah, plant indeed. Diana here wants to wrap through mid, though. Might make a lot of noise. Deck won't hear it. Gets the kill, and this could set up a pinch opportunity. Hello?
It's making them scared.
The bomb has been planted.
Diana. It's a threat. It's a threat you got to deal with. Jake Twin will fall. And now Liam Twin, the last remaining player on the bomb site. Look at this collapse coming through. Diana, the cause of it. And when is she not? Let's be honest. Another kill there. The 3rd in the round. 16 frags. Somebody put a stop to her.
I mean, I knew that she popped off in the hard point, and unfortunately, teammates perhaps not at the same level. And I was kind of, okay, all right, well, you're just cleaning up kills your team. No, 16 so far. So far, we still could have, what, 5 more rounds at least? Diana absolutely frying. Wonderful stuff, and gonna go and defend A herself this time. She's confident enough, she can deal with it. Send the rest of the boys to B.
Utility's being thrown out at the moment by MrDalekJD. They don't want to give any rounds away for free. And they're also being kind of cautious about their rear this time. Diana, of course, did make that flank happen last time around. This time, no. It's aggression up the front. Liam Twin yet again in for 2. And here comes Diana on that flank. But MrDalekJD, they're ready for it this time around. Flank is just not going to work again. Lightning rarely strikes twice in one place. And, well, that round. I mean, again, yeah, they stopped Diana on the flank and it works out.
No, you mentioned it, MrDalekJD there, taking things into his own hands and shutting down Diana, who was on the flank, learning from the problems that they had last round out and shutting that down. Those adjustments are all we can ask for, and it's a great job. And this time, it looks like an A hit out of DalekJD, a change-up in the plans we've seen so far.
Need to see the rest of the team here start to get something going, because so far that hasn't really happened for the roster. Diana has been a one-woman army. Let's see if she can continue that on now, though, as they look to defend the site. There's going to be that A-hit coming out from MrDalekJD, and the crossfire now going in the blue from Diana, who has made their way across the middle of the map once again. And it's that pressure. It's keeping them out of blue, and that's a good thing as far as Team Break are concerned.
Yeah, this is exactly why a lot of teams go to B, because A being behind blue just creates so many bottlenecks, makes it so difficult for anyone to push down that side on the offensive side of things. And Diana here is in a very advanced position. She's going to control a lot of the middle of the map. As gunfire rings out around her, she's just waiting for anything to appear.
Oh, good attempt from Diana there to get the kill onto MrDalek. Just not going to happen, and now that's going to open up the B site for MrDalekJD. That bomb should go down, unless Akimbo puts a stop to it. This could be the frag that you need, Akimbo, but no! The bomb is now going to get planted. And 50 seconds now on the clock for a potential GG's going through. Actually, it's not quite just yet, excuse me. MrDalekJD wasn't sure about it, just wanted the cover of the bomb before they get it down, and now it is down. Akimbo there, free kill as far as MrDalekJD is concerned. Jake to win with the final double to close things out. They reach that coveted 6-round total. Team Portal able to take a second map of this series, and therefore the series is theirs.
It is indeed. We'll see Team DalekJD, Team Portal go on through to the final. Unfortunately for Team MediaTek, we will see you in the third place playoff. Not the series out of you, but I mean, how many times did we speak about Diana? Incredible performance, very unlucky indeed. Team Dalek won't care though, they're through.
Yeah, however they do it, it doesn't really matter. I'll tell you what though, a highly impressive performance coming out from Diana. I presume that the replay package off the back of that will just be her. I think it's just her plays. Brilliantly done in terms of just the flanks that she was putting together. I think, you know, as soon as Team MrDalekJD kind of, they got wise to it, they managed to adapt perfectly, and that's when they were winning those rounds back again. But, you know, it's a real good effort, valiant effort coming out there from Team MediaTek. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I'm a big fan of, you know, recognizing who your strongest player is and sending them to do a lot of the dirty work. But with DalekJD, they just, again, they were well aware of what was happening and made those adjustments. And that's all you can really ask for. If you just, you know, okay, this hasn't worked for this reason, let's deal with it. That's what the best players in the world do. And no different here in this show match as they managed to shut down Diana, who was on a rampage. You're going to get here our little highlights package. And I think at one point, Diana picking up an ace by herself, I mean, outrageously impressive.
Yeah, despite not winning that series,
oh goodness me,
it is disgusting. Despite not winning that series, I'd say that was probably player of the game, player of the series for me. I think coming up from Diana, they're brilliantly done. But again, just certain of themselves. Team MrDalekJD knew exactly what they were doing. Team Portal able to get the victory, and you can see that again here throughout all of those rounds. There was a lot of, I would say, map control issues between the two teams that I'd kind of like to see them fix moving forward, of course, you know, not really being certain of how much map control they actually had. And I think you and I both know, you know, we both agree that generally speaking, once a team gets hyper aggressive and they're sure of themselves, map control becomes a lot easier to take.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of teams were very scared of giving up that A plan and trying to defend it very, very early. The problem is that every time we seem to see, I think there was maybe one occasion where both teams met at A and was in a standoff around blue. Every other occasion, if a team sent everyone to A, the opposition had gone to B, and it was this constant mismatch of numbers. And one of the reasons why Diana's play was so good in the ace is because there was that mismatch of numbers. Well aware of it, communication comes through, adjusts and wraps the map. So yeah, no, a great series out of both teams.
Alrighty, well, let's show everybody at home kind of what the bracket looks like then after that matchup. As we say, Team Portal, MrDalekJD are through to the finals, and that means Team MediaTek are into that third place playoff. But who will they face in their remaining respective matches? Well, we'll have the answer for you very soon, because the next matchup, Andy, is Team Airtrigger versus Team 165Hz.
It is indeed. Team Airtrigger being Andalex. We spoke about him before. It's the Frenchman, the former Fortnite player, 165Hz. This being Prowess, and this being your predicted winner, the man from Warzone in particular. Again, let's see if he can bring those Call of Duty skills that he has over into this matchup. I'm very much looking forward to it. Of course, the winner will go through to play Team DalekJD. So there's an opportunity here, Brody, for my prediction and your prediction to be playing each other in the final.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? It'd be a beautiful ending, you know, poetic, if you will, for this stream. But yeah, regardless, you know, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that transferable skill will come in. Again, we talk about it, you know, if you're a competitive Call of Duty player in any of the 3 or 4 aspects that we have here to Call of Duty, I think just you do have that transferable skill that will be able to bring it into Call of Duty Mobile, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what Pro Ersin is able to do. That said, you know, we've got Andalex here, Fortnite player. We'll see what he's able to bring to the table as well. So interesting to see that matchup. I cannot wait to see what it brings for us.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, yeah, you mentioned there about Andalex being an ex-Fortnite player. That you talk about a game where it's high, you know, adaptability. Anything can happen at any minute. I mean, where else? So yeah, bringing that over here will be invaluable to his team.
Yeah, indeed. So that is going to be the net matchup that we have next on stream. Really excited to get into it, of course, as we move forward today with the Asus ROG Phone 6D Ultimate Showdown. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, we're going to have more action from Call of Duty Mobile. Welcome back everybody to the Asus ROG 60 phone Ultimate Showdown here. We're about to get into our second match of the day. My name is Infinity and I'm joined by Enigma here on the desk. Andy, mate, how are you doing? We just had a hell of a match for the first match of the day. We've got our second one coming up.
Yes, we do indeed, between Team 165Hz and Team Air Triggers. Just making sure I get that correct. But yes, that would be Pro-Urson and Anderlecht. So the French side against the German side. Very much so a battle that we're looking forward to. Your prediction to win the whole thing was Team Pro-Urson. So we're going to get to see how that prediction really feels. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring, because we spoke about it previously before the break. They've both got competitive backgrounds.
Yeah, indeed they do. We'll talk about those predictions in just a second. Before we get there though, we've got to talk about the phone. The reason we're doing this entire thing, we've got the Asus ROG phone. Of course, right now, we'll just let you know, you can see at the bottom of our screen, there is a giveaway going on at this point in time. There'll also be some extra codes to look at for the rest of the stream as well. We'll get to those in just a second. But Andy, while we're away, let's take a look at this phone and show everybody at home kind of what we got here.
Yeah, so we spoke a little bit about the phone earlier and the kind of things that come with it. You're talking about the portal for the cooler, you're talking about 165Hz display, 6,000 milliamp battery, the extremely impressive MediaTek CPU that is inside of it. But one of the other things that comes with the phone is going to be this little baby. Now, you're wondering what that is. You plug the phone in, it goes across sideways, and on the back, you have a bunch of buttons and other functionality here. And this is, of course, your cooler as well. You've got your fans on the side. And one of the things, so when we were playing with this earlier on, one of the things I kind of discovered is actually it's got a stand on it too. So unfortunately, I can't really show you on the camera there, but it actually just sits. So your phone very neatly as well. I mean, it doesn't just have to be gaming either. It could be movies, anything, but it sits very nicely and just plays away.
Yeah, it's beautiful, mate. You know, that's how I would watch all of my movies and play my video games. So, yeah, brilliantly done. Also, here you go again. Here is that code that you guys can go and use for an additional entry into the giveaway. So go check that out right now. If you guys want a chance at winning this bad boy, you can do so by using the code on screens. And we'll be flashing more of those up throughout the rest of the broadcast. So stay tuned. Keep your eyes open for more of those codes. Nonetheless, though, I think it's time for us to talk about the remaining matches we have today. Of course, we just had our first one. MrDalekJD, Team Portal ended up winning, which is good for your prediction, Andy, because you know, that's who you predicted to win the entire thing.
It is, and usually my predictions are an absolute curse, so I'm very glad about this currently.
This is the first.
Yeah, it is. Like there will generally be people sat at home like, surely you can't get it wrong that often. No, apparently, yeah.
You'd be surprised.
It's called the Cast of Curse for a reason. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do, because they look good as a whole squad as well. The whole unit, they were very good at adapting to the kind of plays that were coming out from players like Diana and so yeah, definitely a squad there that can go on and take this whole thing. But do your prediction make it through, Team Pro-Urson?
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, these are the matches. These are the teams, excuse me, that we have coming up right now. Team Air Trigger versus Team 165Hz. That's Anderlecht going up against Pro-Urson. And here are the rosters. Oh my goodness me, I have no idea how we're going to pronounce that. We've got Anderlecht's RL-Sparrow. Syrah? I think it might just be Syrah, actually. To be fair, I wasn't quite looking for that. But yeah, Syrah, and then Why You Cry, which is going to be always fun to call, Andy. And on the other side, we've got Team 165Hz, which of course is Pro-Urson. And the man himself, joined by Taco, Kango, Kickdown, and Trunks.
Yes, wonderful set of names there. We will indeed go with Syrah for the man there on Team Air Trigger, but very much so looking forward to this battle in our Asus ROG 60 Ultimate Showdown.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And, you know, as we said, you know, we're looking at these two teams. Anderlecht, of course, a Fortnite player. Interested to see kind of how he does here in a Call of Duty mobile setting. He is joined on, well, the battlefield, if you will, by Pro-Urson, who you and I, we've had a chance to cast over in Call of Duty Warzone a fair bit. And again, we always do kind of stress this thing, which is that, you know, we have various Call of Duty esports. You've got the regular kind of multiplayer, if you will, in the Call of Duty League and Call of Duty Challengers. Then you've got Warzone, which, of course, there's an entire scene for that, and Call of Duty Mobile, which for those of you who are wondering, by the way, if you guys are interested in watching any more Call of Duty Mobile, there is actually a Call of Duty World Championship going on. Basically, right now, it goes on throughout the entirety of the year. We're about to get into Stage 5 for that, and the World Championship, we're down to the final 16 teams, and what I believe is a $2 million tournament. That'll be going down in December, so that is going to be epic to see. So if you guys, you know, if this is giving you a little taste, a little thirst of Call of Duty Mobile action, that's probably the best place to check it out.
Yeah, and I wouldn't blame them either. I mean, when I started stepping into Call of Duty Mobile, immediately this is part of, obviously, the Call of Duty multiverse, if you will. We've spoken about the different games there, but honestly, Call of Duty Mobile, it's such a fantastic game. It's got the best maps, modes, weapons, all conglomerated into one area. I started playing it recently, and goodness me, I had a whale of a time. So, yeah, I've got it on my phone. I'll be playing it on the way back later. So, yeah, very much a great game.
I don't want you to play it on the way back, mate. That would not be...
No, well, I mean, I'll be driving, but like later on when I get home.
Yeah, that wouldn't be sad. I mean, you could, I reckon you're skilled enough, but
you could drive.
Anyway, regardless, let's talk about the maps that we have coming up for this next series. Again, once this is going to be a best of 3 format, I believe it's going to be Raid Hardpoint is kicking us off for this one.
Yeah, Raid Hardpoint, an absolute classic. A wonderful, wonderful map paired with the mode that seems like it was built purely for Call of Duty. I mean, you're going to start off with a dicey hill to get things going around your ring area, but, I mean, you've got so many money hills on Raid, so many places where you can lock things down. So teams that bring in the fundamentals, they rotate early, they get themselves set up, you are going to benefit from this map. It is such a great map. It's been loved for so long. It keeps appearing in games because it's just so good.
Yeah, and I believe following this one will be Summit, Search and Destroy, and Firing Range Control. I believe those are the maps to close out this series. So again, I pretty much say this all the time, to be honest, but whenever we look at a map set for Call of Duty Mobile, it does just feel like it kind of fills me with glee in a way. And I'm sure everybody at home as well, because you see these kind of classic Call of Duty maps from various games over the years, and it does genuinely feel like it's just fun, because these are the maps that you grew up on in a way of COD, right? Everybody has their favorite Call of Duty game or their favorite map. For me, mine is Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
I'm sure yours is the same. If it's not, I'm going to judge you really hard.
It is indeed Black Ops 2, but I'm a couple of years older than you, so I mean, Black Ops 2 to me might mean something. So there's no need for that. We have, by the way, our talent on screen. So again, pro-versing a little bit still, but Andalek's head down, ready to go, geared up for this one, wants to win. You can see the focus on the young man.
Yeah, indeed. You do want to feel locked in here, and yes, you get into that with this wonderful phone, of course, which these guys are playing on, by the way. We probably just stressed that these guys are actually using the phone to play these matches right now. So if you guys are enjoying the gameplay that you're seeing, well, hey, you could replicate that as well with this very phone in your own hands. So it should be awesome to see these guys play in the next matchup. We haven't done our predictions for this matchup just yet, though, Andy, while we're waiting for the game to get underway.
Well,
so... Obviously, you predicted MrDalekJD for the overall tournament, but specific to this match, how do you think this is going to go?
I don't really care how it's going to go. Brody,
are you avoiding a prediction right now?
No.
He's dipping on a prediction, folks. This is what's happening right now.
Brody is going to obviously back Team pro-versing because he's hoping for them to win the whole thing. So in spite, I'm going with Team Andalek's. Very simple.
To be fair, I think generally speaking, we should always stay on opposite sides of the fence. No one should ever sit on the fence. You're not doing a good job if you are, okay? But yeah, regardless, I'm super hyped to see kind of how this one goes again. Pro-versing, a professional Call of Duty Warzone player, and of course Andalek's professional Fortnite player. It's going to be interesting to kind of see how those guys clash when it comes down to the battlefield here in Call of Duty Mobile, especially considering we're going to see them on a classic map such as Raid, which is, I think, inarguably, and I don't care what anybody says, it's inarguably the best Call of Duty map of all time.
Yeah, no, it's an outrageously good map, just in the way it's built, in the way you can get all your different roles playing. We've seen a couple of different weapons coming out in that first series, M4, SKS at different points.
Yep.
We still haven't seen the KSP, I believe.
Somebody use the KSP. I don't understand. It's so powerful,
it's
guys.
So good.
We're going to tell you right now, if the players are watching, maybe we shouldn't be doing this because we're giving them an advantage, but if you players are watching us right now, use the KSP. Trust me, it's really good.
Yeah, it's outrageous. It dominates the World Championships for good reasons, and if you are playing or looking to play, that's your weapon choice. ICR to start this one off, though, and away we go.
Is that the HD40 as well, ready to go here, coming out from Wires? Well, I'm interested to see how that one works out for Kim, but as we move forward, it's going to be Team Blue, Team Andalek's kicking things off here. In towards the hardpoint they go. And again, this is one of the more balanced Call of Duty hardpoint maps we've had over the years.
It is indeed. Allows your SMG players to get up nice and close. Your ARs will also find plenty of purchase in spots like Laundry or looking over this very map. It isn't going to matter, though, because Team Andalek's have just bullied their way on in. The SMG is getting up nice and close and dealing with everything.
And something we should stress as well at the moment here is as these kills do come through, Sparrow with another one hit. That's his third in a row at the beginning of this game. They're on the better side of the map, so again, we talk about kind of how important hardpoint rotations are to this game mode, Andy. Right now, for Team Andalex, they're in a great position to kind of get a really early lead here.
They are indeed, and a lot of kills going the way of Team Andalex, streaks in hand of Syrah, and is very much so feeling one-sided. Look at the absolute slaying prowess coming out of Team Andalex here. Andalex himself is able to sit on a donut and just soak up hill time because his teammates are going out doing all the business.
Good first wave of gunfights coming through here for the rotation. This has been a brilliant start coming out from Team Andalex. Generally speaking, when it comes to P1, the first hardpoint in any given map in Call of Duty, it's normally very mixy. Very rarely do teams ever get a full 60 or anything close to it. But Andalex coming through here and playing extremely well. He's able to get a triple, and now it's the team in blue, Team Andalex coming through here. Team Air Trigger coming through here and holding on to this hill. There's a couple more potential breaks coming through here from Team Pro-Ursin, but they've got to hurry up if they want to get some time.
You do indeed, and as Andalex brings in the cruise, he's going to, sorry, the Predator missile is just going to give away so much information as well. It's going to tell him where everyone is, and this right now, if you've just tuned in, yes, we are at 85-0 right now. Team Andalex, the Frenchman, dominating.
Team Andalex at the moment having a whale of a time. Now it's about this rotation though. 10 seconds left here, and you can already see Team 165 Hertz, Pro-Ursin and Co. They've made their way over towards the garage hardpoint, and this is where they can finally amass some time for themselves. Because so far, they're sat on a fat donut, and that's not how you want to see a team play.
Yeah, you're right. At least there is that rotation in. You're going to see Kango kick down and Pro-Ursin himself back on up to that garage hill. They've got a little bit of a buffer as well with players around ramp, but up nice and close is Adrian.
Sparrow now going to have that gravity vortex gun ready to go, and that's really good for zoning players away, but Streaks now coming down from high. That will protect Team Andalex inside, and well, there's the kills required. They're able to make their way through the hard point. It is a break. Barely 10 points have been given away here to Team 165 Hertz.
Yeah, and just to rub salt in the wound, Andalex will pop the death machine, pick himself up a three-piece. Adrian will pick up another three-piece, and this, Brody, is feeling outrageously one-sided all of a sudden. A lot of slaying power coming out of the French side, and Trunks here just hoping to hold, if anything, keep the opposing team back. But oh goodness me, if you are Team Pro-Ursin at this point, you've got to get moving.
Yeah, things aren't exactly going well. I think that's the way we can describe it. The slaying power at the moment is immense coming out from Team Andalex. You can see it just in the raw stats and in terms of what they're earning. You know, the specialists now being utilized correctly. You almost feel like there's an advantage in the way that they're playing the game. That, you know, the knowledge is there. They know exactly what they need to do, and you're just seeing it in the raw gun skill as well. Andalex just gets another triple there as he pair attention over towards the basketball hard point, the fourth in the rotation. It's been a quick break on the last kill. Can they do it again here? Let's find out. As Trunks able to pick up two. Trades now starting to come on through, but the blue team, Team Air Trigger, trying to make their way on through. Pro-Ursin with a brief fire around the corner. It is going to zone these guys away for the moment, but just like that, it's Andalex coming through. He is piecing.
Is indeed, and I guess the one piece of saving grace that might be there if you are Pro-Ursin, if you are this 165 Hertz team, you have two death machines available to you, but if Sparrow's picking up three pieces like that, and you can see a lot of streaks available for Team Air Triggers, this starts to feel one way, and your death machine does that. It's not looking too great, bro.
Yeah, this is one of those games, isn't it, where sometimes things just are not going your way. But look, there's still a path back into the game here for Team 165 Hertz. They just need to start getting some frags to their name. And of course, you know, the good thing about Call of Duty Mobile is you have those specialist weapons to kind of bounce back off, right? You know, and you can see the utility on board at the moment. You've got Purifiers, you've got a Death Machine ready to go as well from Pro-Ursin. So if they utilize these correctly, maybe they can start to build up some streaks, Sandy, and find their way back into the game.
They do indeed, but if it's going to happen, this would be a good place to start it. But the gravity gun is out, and well, does manage to pick up at least one. Sparrow then gets the second. Andalex will sweep in, but is shut down by Trunks. So some points coming in if your Team Pro-Ursin may be starting to feel their way into this game, and Trunks actually gets a UAV, huge.
Yeah, these things can be useful, of course. That'll give Trunks ability information here and the rest of his team the same. 30 seconds left here, still a lot of time, and again, this is what, the final hill in the rotation coming out, so there's still a wealth of time ready to go for Team Andalex to grab if they do break on through, and they do exactly that here. Sierra picks up one on towards, I believe that's Taco playing under the name Wires. Another two-piece now coming through from Sierra as well with the Gravity Vortex gun, and still I think the scariest thing is when you look at Team Andalex, they've still got a fair bit of utility to go. I believe the Death Machine has now been utilized, and this is going to be crucial for the rotation. It's Andalex who picks up two, still has a ways to go before this rotation is locked down though.
Yeah, because the spawns from Pro Urson all come in, and oh my goodness me, it does not matter, because Andalex shuts down another two with the Death Machine. That will be Team Pro Urson wiped away from P1, wiped away from Ring, and Adrian's just bouncing around the map, cleaning up everything.
Andalex highly impressive, and the rest of the roster are also impressing us here on the casting desk at the moment as they are dominating game number one in this best of three. Hardpoint is very much going their way. Still streaks on the board though for both Andalex and Sierra here, and Andalex actually has all of the streaks ready to go. That barrage will be the most effective in defending this hill. Just 25 seconds shy now of victory here in game number one. That wave of kills might well cement it, Andy.
Yeah, and as the spawns come in here, Andalex has also got himself available a cluster streak, which he can pull down into areas to zone it. And actually, one of the things in COD Mobile is you don't do friendly fire damage, so just call it down on the hill.
Yeah, basically that. You just sit and you'll have this barrage of clusters coming down upon you. And just like that, well, it will enable Andalex to get the final points required here. Team Air Trigger, a dominant start to this best of three. They're able to take it.
Yeah, dominant is definitely the way I would describe it. It looked really good from the first break in the game, but we could never have predicted how one-sided that game would end up being. I think it was 80-0 at one point. Very, very impressive from Team Air Triggers, looking every bit the part, and honestly, probably the best we've seen so far today.
That's the best map we've seen so far today. Out of the three that we've seen, mind you. But yeah, definitely the best performance we've seen from a single team. Everybody was firing on all cylinders there. Andalex, though, I think, you know, leading the charge. And that is what a good leader does do. So really well played. We saw triple after triple coming out from that man. But I tell you what, I mean, the entire team just consistently pulling out 2 pieces, 3 pieces when required.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think we spoke multiple times about players like Sparrow, players like Adrian, Siri even popping in with multiple pieces. So yeah, definitely. And you spoke about Andalex leading the way. He joins in with the rest of his team in the slaying department, but make no mistake about it, throughout the first couple of hills, he was happy to let his team run off and do their own thing whilst he took up hill time. So the fact that he then catches his teammates back up shows just how good a map he really had.
And I imagine the vast majority of this replay will be Team Andalex coming through. And I think one of the key difference makers for me, at least, when we're looking at kind of why this map was very different to what we saw maybe in the first best of 3 of the day, was, you know, we've already discussed it, kind of street usage and specialist usage, right? I think in the first game of the day, the first series of the day, it wasn't the best. I think, you know, again, these things can really be game changers, but we were seeing great Gravity Vortex gun usage coming out from basically all of the players that had it on board. You know, the Death Machines were pretty great as well, but most importantly, I think the streaks, the right call to bring them out when they did, because you were already talking about, I think it's the barrage that comes down, the final streak that they're utilizing. Of course, you and I maybe not so used to seeing that in a competitive setting, but nonetheless, it's just so useful. You bring it down, it gives you basically a hill for free, because no one else is going to touch the hill when that's coming down on it.
Yeah, no, 100%. A difference maker there in the sense of, I feel like it's almost like Team Andalex know that little bit more, right? They were happy to bring that barrage down on top of them and just zone. No Pro Urson player can step on that hill, essentially. They're going to have to pick up kills from afar, and Team Andalex were very comfortable playing that game all day long. And you're right, there was some great usages through there. You talk about Death Machines. How many times did we see 2 pieces, 3 pieces defending hills or important zones, bottlenecks into areas that are important on the map? So yeah, Team Andalex look really, really good right now. It is hard to see Team Pro Urson get themselves back into this through the S&D. The one thing is, and we saw it once or twice through there, we've spoken about the fundamentals that are important to Call of Duty. If they transition well into your S&D play, they can make the difference if you don't necessarily have the slaying power. They rotated well a couple of times, bro. Yeah,
the one thing I will say is, you say, you know, S&D is a very different game mode to Hardpoint. And again, you know, we kind of did mention momentum when it came to that first series and how much of a difference factor that can make. But at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you get these teams that are just S&D based teams, right? And you know, the phrase that we always use in competitive Call of Duty is S&D wins championships. Now, in this case, S&D wins the showdown, the ultimate showdown. You know, it definitely is the case. Now, just to clarify the origin of that phrase, because you get 2 search and destroys in a series, and it is always the final search and destroy, or the final map in any given best of 5 format. It's such an important game mode to get right, and I think, you know, a lot of people, they love it. Search and destroy is just classic. I think it provides the baseline for not just Call of Duty, but a number of esports. And yeah, I think it's just classic, and again, maybe that's something that Pro Urson has. You know, again, I think before Call of Duty Warzone, I believe he did play some like competitive Call of Duty, maybe even before Hardpoint was in the competitive rotation. So certainly he will be good at search and destroy. It's just making sure that that translates to the gameplay here. I will say, I think improvements coming from game number 1 to game number 2. We need to see better usage of streaks and specialists coming out, because that can well be the difference maker here in Call of Duty Mobile.
Well, I think streaks and specialists are disabled for search and destroy.
Oh, you know what? They might be.
I will say that a point that you bring up there very well is that Pro Urson, with that previous history of the competitive play, I'm expecting him to lead this side. Right. We saw Andalex lead his side in that game 1. Let's see a bit of that experience from Pro Urson, a bit of that Call of Duty experience come into this map 2 and lead his team somewhere. And again, we spoke about it in the previous series. That means confident plays. That means we're going to play for A, we're going to play for B. We want map positioning here, not just let's feel things out and see what happens, because if you do that and you lose a couple of opening picks, you lose the gunfights, you're in a world of trouble. Well,
the one thing I will say is, you know, you could definitely draw out the aggression of Team Andalex here, right? We talk about the momentum, and I think that's going to give them a lot of confidence moving forward into this map number 2. You know, you can definitely utilize that to say, look, we know that Team Andalex are going to get aggressive. We know that they're going to kind of challenge us in a way that other teams maybe wouldn't. So maybe this is an opportunity for us to kind of draw that aggression out, play a little bit more passively. Even on the offense, you can get some free rounds by doing that, Andy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we see it week in, week out in every form of Call of Duty. If a team stomps one map, there's usually a lack of respect going into map 2. So you could well and truly get a couple of Team Andalex players, a couple of these Team Air Trigger players flying at Team 165 Hertz, and then getting shut down. If you're in a 4v2 scenario, you can go and see that out just by holding hands with your teammate.
Yeah, the one thing I will say, though, is, you know, in these situations, with the way that Team Andalex are playing right now, it's kind of like, do you still even win the fight? Right, you know, because they could probably ego challenge some kills they probably should get and win them at the moment, the way that they're playing.
Yeah, they look good. They do look really, really good. So, look, I mean, it's not over until the Fat Lady sings. We will continue to see how this one builds, but right now, yeah, it's difficult to build a way in for your prediction, I will be honest.
Well, I think, to be fair, at this point, the way that Team Andalex is playing, I know we've only seen one map, so maybe this is just us being a little bit extra at the moment. But our predictions might both well be off base for this entire tournament, because Team Andalex have impressed us thoroughly off the back of that hard point, excuse me. So, search and destroy. We're going to summit for map number 2. Again, this is a map from Call of Duty Black Ops. It's been rushed a couple of times over the course of the Call of Duty series. Let's get into this one. Let's see if what we were saying kind of translates into the real gameplay here. Do we see this high-paced aggression coming out from Team Andalex? And it seems like that has been the case at the very least, because Sira has got themselves entrenched in towards B.
Yeah, that interesting defensive call there out of Team Andalex was to send all 4 players to B, not a single player to A. They have now spread more a bit thin, but the attack is already here.
Kills already going down, and Sira's going to be the first one to get that frag in towards Pro Urson, and that should start the offense quite a bit for Trunks. That's the ego challenge that we wanted to see. Takes down Sira, makes this a 3 versus 3. Much more manageable situation, but they still don't have the map control for the bomb, and they do have to be cautious, because look at number 3 on the minimap. That is going to be Adrian, who's ready to ruin their day.
Yeah, he's wrapped around the back. The only thing is he hasn't come up, and he's going to look for it now. Sparrow, actually, though, is just going to get up close and get shut down by Trunks, though. That is a 3v2 for Team Pro Urson.
I don't know why you wouldn't wait there for Adrian to come on through, but again, that might be that aggression that we wanted to see. But Adrian comes through for 2. This PP Bison is so crucial, looking for number 3, the long-range shots, and he will get it. Adrian is shooting much, much better.
Yeah, it took him a minute to wrap around there, and I think he actually gets lost a little bit. I think he was supposed to come up through that walkway, but ended up getting in the wrong spot. Eventually arrives, picks up the 3-piece, so I think Sira falls because of that lack of timing, but it's all avenged. 1-0 up for Team Andalex.
Good map control at the moment for Team Andalex off the back of that round. Great clutch from Adrian. What are the adaptations we see coming out of this round? A little more caution coming out here from Team 165 Hertz. Be careful that there aren't any flanking players, and that's nicely played there from Taco to take down Andalex. Good attempt on through the walkway, but trade through from Sparrow now on towards Pro Urson. So 3 versus 3 we go.
Yeah, a bit more patience here from both sides, just feeling their way around things. Bomb, by the way, all the way back in spawn. I'm not sure if they're going to notice that and just go and play TDM. It won't matter because Taco shut down by Sparrow. And 2v3 scenario. You're a little bit stuck. I'm not sure if they've realized the bomb's back there.
Maybe they don't really. They're going to try to get the bomb down. They're like, oh, hang on. We don't really have it. But regardless, now it's 1 versus 3 situation for Kango kick down here. It's more than possible, but this is the aggression we were talking about, and this time it's Sierra to do it. Kango kick down, just not ready for that engagement. And again, that it seems to be the difference maker at the moment. You know, in that last series, we saw players a little bit cautious, more pre-aiming than anything. But these challenges, when you feel like you've got that confidence down to win these gunfights, it's so huge.
Yeah, you saw that there out of Sierra. Nice and aggressive, doesn't give Kickdown a moment's breath, and deals with the gunfight here with the QQ9 in hand. It's going to get aggressive as well, right off the back of this one.
We're starting to see that aggression. Trunks doesn't expect it. Sierra now able to get a second potentially on the board. It's Taco. And, well, it's not going to be a kill. I think Adrian comes in with a snipe on the back line. And this is that aggression. Just look at how far deep now Andalex are entrenched into the players on the offense.
Frag out.
And kind of sandwiched in now as Adrian potentially with a slice. There it is, the quick scope on towards Kango, cooldown, and just one player now. It's Proers and the captain in a 1 versus 3. Might be able to get the easy kill, but not able to do it just yet. They're lining up for him, there's a possibility. But Adrian coming in to try and get the knife kill, the BM for the kill. They can't get it done. Finally, Sierra gets it. And these guys, I think they're starting to feel themselves now.
Poor Proerson, he puts damage into pretty much everybody. Unfortunately, though, doesn't finish anything off. The folding knife, the anime kitty knife coming on through there, cleaning things up, and Proerson had nowhere to go as he tried to reload his mag. 3-0 to Team Andalex, and is feeling as one-sided as it looks.
Look at Michael Myers lobby there for a second, Andy. It's a throwback. First kill's coming out already, this one, and this time around, Andalex going to get the better of Kango. Kick down. Trunks fallen as well. Numbers falling in a linear fashion, just as we kind of expect at this point. Proerson not ready for Sierra to challenge like that, and now it's down to Taco in a 1 versus 3 situation. Bomb down on the walkway, so he's got to go retrieve it. And Adrian just going to come out with a sniper rifle, give him the quick scope, why not? It's a snappy shot from Adrian.
Yeah, they're just bringing a little bit extra quality of this team Andalex side, this team Triggers team. They're just bringing that little bit of something. You've seen those confident challenges. I mean, that's a sniper rifle on walkway. Usually you would expect him to be sat watching over that position, not up amongst it. Adrian himself, by the way, 6-0.
Sierra also with 6 frags. Now getting the DL out as well, wants to get those snappy shots on, and it's actually punished for it this time, and that's what we were talking about. We wanted to see that aggression being punished by Team 165 Hertz, and they seem to have done that for the first kill, but they'll have to do it for the second. Sparrow now on the flank, looking for another one on the board. Isn't able to get it just yet, and he's just making Kango kick down, run away.
Yeah, Trunks wants absolutely none of that either. Manages to run out the other side and actually pick up a kill, so all of a sudden, in a really good spot. It was a 4v2. Sparrow will get 1 to even things up a little bit. Sparrow doing the work to bring it back to a 2v2. Bomb down, though.
That's the key thing here. Finally something to the advantage here for a Team 165 Hertz. Massive 1 versus 1 in the middle of the map for Trunks on towards Sparrow, but no, Sparrow is third in the round and now looking for the ace to close things out. The shot's going in for Andalex. He's actually going to get taken down here by Taco, so 1 versus 1 now between the two. 20 seconds on the clock. You still need to reserve 5 for a defuse, and Sparrow comes in, give him the ace, give him the defuse. It will put them 5 rounds up over the opposition.
Yeah, and a little bit of taunting as well with the bomb defuse, and it's the best effort yet out of Team Proerson. It's the best that they've looked so far on the attack. That will be their final attack round, by the way. Team Andalex will now get an opportunity to take the bomb forward and dictate where we will play the game. But yeah, it has been relatively one-sided. And you see why when players like Sparrow coming out with an ace to clutch things up.
Just one more round is all that's required here for Team Andalex as they are now on the offense. And I think that actually might be worse for a Team Proerson or Team 165 Hertz. Oh, look at this coming through. Taco thinks, oh, that's a 3-lane. Yeah, it's a 3-lane, but not for you, buddy.
Yeah, Adrian there, by the way, hitting another quick scope. Guy loves his sniper rifle. Indeed, Trunks will bring one back on the ball, but bombs down, so 40 seconds to go.
Bomb now being down. All they got to do is defend the site. For 35 more seconds, Sparrow in for 2. Proerson, last left alive, 1 versus 4. It would be 1 versus 3. Excuse me. It would be nice for him to get that clutch, but it's just not going to happen. And well, we have another 2-0 on our hands, and this time it's significantly more dominant.
It is indeed. Team Andalex, Team Triggers coming out and looking really, really hot. And I mean, a lot of those rounds are going to have been settled in the early stages. There was, of course, that extra bit of quality, but if you were Team Air Triggers, I mean, we talked about it earlier on, where in Search and Destroy, you die, you go down, you don't respawn. So it's very important to get off to good starts. And we're talking about first bloods, the opening kills on the map. Team Andalex were dominating in that department, 4-2, and even in moments where Team Pro-Essen did manage to get themselves a first blood, it was clutched up. So yeah, it's very, very strong stuff if you're Team Andalex.
Yeah, there was a lot of confidence, I think, there on Team Andalex, and you could see that kind of pushing through in round 2 or 3 when they started to pull out the sniper rifles, the knife kills, the BM, getting in the heads of Team 165 Hertz, and you can see that right now as we go through the replays for that one. Brilliant start, and I think that really did kind of set the tone for how that Search and Destroy was going to go as a triple to close things out from Adrian. I mean, we just saw so many plays like that, Andy.
Yeah, we did as well. And I mean, we're going to get to watch this knife kitty going, anime kitty going absolutely wild here, Pro-Essen, with nowhere to run. Sira is the one who ends up getting the kill in the end, but unfortunately, I mean, there's just that little bit of extra class sometimes, and there's not much you can really do about it. Give it your best effort. Did like how Team Pro-Essen, managed to get the bomb down on one of the attacks at the unfavored bomb spot as well. Yeah, for all their valiant efforts, it is a one-sided 6-0 victory.
Yeah, you don't get much more one-sided than that, do you? The way that it was playing, it never really felt like that. There were a couple of moments, I would say, where it maybe felt like Team 165 Hertz had a chance to find their way, find a round. I mean, they got the bomb down at one point over by Array, right? So there was an opportunity for them to do that, but it was the defense of the bomb, and what was it, Sparrow coming through with an ace and a clutch there in the final moments of the round. You have to find a way around that, and it just doesn't work out for a Team 165 Hertz, who unfortunately will be going to that third place playoff match. Up Team Edriga through to our finals, and let's show you what that bracket does actually look like. So as we said, Team Portal already won earlier on versus Team MediaTek with the 2-0 victory of their own. They will face Team Air Trigger for all the beans in the final. But of course we do have, before we get there, the third place playoff matchup between Team MediaTek and Team 165 Hertz. Andy.
Yeah, we do indeed. The two sides that, I mean, perhaps it came into things a little bit cold, perhaps a little bit outclassed, whatever it is, they now get to square off against each other. And again, competition lives in the blood of all of these players. No one wants to go home in last place. Even if you're just fighting for third, every map matters. So they're going to be taking it to each other well and truly. They'll have hopefully learned a couple of things from their opening series and bring that into that third place playoff.
I've got to be honest, I'm just excited to see more Diana gameplay. Straight up, we want to see more of that from everybody across the board. We will have a great game on our hands, but I'm very excited to see who will come out in third place between these two teams. But more importantly, of course, the final bosses of today's tournament, Team Portal and Team Air Trigger. Both of them won pretty convincingly in their respective matchups, Sandy.
Yeah, and I think as well, after the way Team Portal, MrDalekJD and his co run over that first game, I was feeling confident about my prediction for the first time in my life. All of a sudden, I'm a little bit nervous because Team Andalex looked really, really good. I think the big thing for both of these sides is all four players were on a wavelength, playing very well, all individually doing bits. Whereas, when we talk about the two teams that are going to be playing the third place playoff, you mentioned her, Diana. She was phenomenal, a ridiculous individual. And for me, that match becomes how did Team Pro-Essen shut down Diana? We saw that DalekJD and co had to figure things out and make adjustments. Can Team Pro-Essen do that?
Yeah, going to be interesting, I think, for Dynamic for sure. Before we get to a quick break, though, guys, just a quick reminder for you folks at home. If you guys want to win the wonderful phones that these guys are playing on today, you have an opportunity to do that via the giveaway. Just check out the link right below for a chance to win this gorgeous device. It's got a ton of features for it for competitive gaming. And as I said, all the gameplay today is being played directly off these phones. So check out that link. And again, a reminder, we will be having codes show up throughout the stream, just like the one below for extra entries into that giveaway. So make sure you guys stay tuned for more of those as we go throughout the day, Andy.
Absolutely. I mean, we've already spoken several times about the kind of functionality on the phone as well as the cooler, the stand, the controllers that comes with it. But I mean, one of the things that when we were messing around with the phone earlier, one of the things that I kind of liked was the air trigger system. I mean, it's essentially, if you've ever used gestures on a phone, you can program it to recognize when you want to hit without actually pressing, which is incredible. What a ridiculous piece of kit. It's a brilliant, brilliant device. And again, you guys can win that with that giveaway. Yeah,
so it's a device that would suit you perfectly, Andy. It would give you the advantage you require in a game of
brilliant.
Call of Duty. Anyway, regardless, guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to throw it to a very brief break. When we return, we're going to have the third place playoff matchup. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to the Asus ROG Phone 60 Ultimate Showdown here. We're talking Call of Duty Mobile. My name's Infinity, joined by Enigma here on their desk. Andy, mate, we've had a great couple of matches so far. We've got a couple more to go before we decide the winner of today's tournament.
We do indeed, we do. We've had our two essential winners games, and now we're going to end up seeing a third place playoff followed by the grand final to find out who is our Ultimate Showdown champion.
Yeah, before we get into talking about any more Call of Duty Mobile, though, it's time to talk about, well, the mobile itself, the Asus ROG Phone, what today is all about. It's got some awesome feature sets to it. Andy, mate, talk to us about this awesome phone.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite lucky to get to play with it a little bit, but one of the things is, playing some mobile games myself, your phone does get quite hot, right? And not only do you get this phone with the cooler and so on and so forth, but it also comes with the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 Plus CPU. It's going to allow you to run this at the really high speed, but also the design of the phone is actively designed for a wider surface area to release that heat, right? Not only just into your cooler that you're going to have with this, but also just generally playing. If you have got a mobile device and you've been playing games, you'll notice it gets quite warm. This phone will deal with that immediately.
And if you guys want a chance to win this phone, well, you can. There is a chance with today's show. Just follow the link that we're about to show you guys right now for a chance to win this awesome phone. And I mean, we've seen so much awesome gameplay today of just what we've seen from the players playing very much on this device. Everything you've seen has been broadcast directly from that phone, Andy.
Yeah, it has indeed. And I mean, again, like I know that we're sitting talking about it, but just getting to play around with it earlier, it's a beautiful piece of kit. A smooth display, very wide. I enjoyed messing around with it, man. Like I had a lot of fun with it earlier on today. So.
It's a ton of fun. It absolutely is. So as I said, there's a giveaway going on right now. You guys can have a chance to win this phone. We'll also be giving you guys secret codes throughout the broadcast. And here's another one right now. So write that down. Go use it for another giveaway. And yeah, make sure you go have a look at that one. Because again, you get more chances to win this phone. And trust me, you guys do want to win it. Because if Andy hasn't sold it to you guys enough, I mean, he can do it all day. This is his speciality. That's what we brought him for, honestly. But yeah, it's awesome phone. So make sure you guys do go check out the giveaway and use that code for an extra chance to win it. That said, we've talked about the phone, then let's talk about the Call of Duty Mobile that we've seen today. Andy, we're halfway through today's broadcast. We've got a couple more matches left to go, the third place playoff matchup and of course the finals. But to get to this point, we had to bring two teams down to that playoff bracket.
Yeah, we did indeed. So we started off with Team Portal, which is DalekJD and Co, against Team MediaTek, which was Break and Co. This went very one way, a 250 to 112 victory in the Hardpoint for Team Portal, and a 6-3 victory in the S&D, again, for Team Portal. And you're going to see some of the highlights here on screen. Diana, the person you were seeing there for a moment, one of the few highlights if you were Team MediaTek.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's kind of the big takeaway for us here, especially as we go into the playoff matchup. We'll be following this one. Diana was absolutely the player to watch for us. However, we focus on the victors for just a second here. Team MrDalekJD, or Team Portal, as they should otherwise be known. I think everybody was playing well on that squad. I think that, you know, MrDalekJD himself was having a good time. We had the twins, if you will, both of them doing their bit for the team, Jake Twin and Liam Twin. So I think the squad is definitely a threat in the grand final. But of course, it wasn't just that match. We had the other semi-final to speak of. This one was a little bit less close, Andy.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a stomping. A 250 to 57 victory if you are Team Andalex. That's Team Air Triggers. And then a 6-0 in the S&D as well. That is 6-0 in the S&D over Team 165Hz, which is Proersin and Co. And yeah, they looked really, really good. All four players brought a little bit of extra something to every gunfight in that series.
Yeah, they did, and here you go. You guys can see again that search and destroy that was just so indomitable. And I think it really did follow. It was a momentum swing, right? It really did follow what that hard point was. They, 57 points is all they managed to grab. But the fact that we saw this 6-0 search and destroy, you could just see it in their gameplay. The way that they were playing it was so fast-paced. I mean, what we saw, that the knife swarm coming through from 3 players onto Proersin, poor guy. He was just like, oh well, I guess I'll die. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He tried to hit a reload, realized he was out of time, nowhere to go. But also like Adrian with the quick scopes. I mean, I felt like he hit like, what, 4 or 5? And it was just incredible to see how confident he was with that in hand. So, I mean, we will get to those grand finals later and talk about those two teams. But before then, the third place playoff, we've got to look for positives. If you are Team MediaTek, Team 165Hz, I've not got too many to bring to you. Team MediaTek, though, I do feel like Diana, though, is going to absolutely take over this third place playoff.
It's just the way you said that. It was just complete savagery. All right, well, Andy said it. I didn't. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, yeah, this is the third place matchup we have coming up. You guys can see the bracket as it currently stands. Team Portal and Team Edgetrigger will face off in the grand final, but Team MediaTek and Team 165Hz, that is what we've got coming up for the third place playoff matchup. That is Break and ProUrsin, the respective personalities that will be leading the charge for MediaTek and 165Hz. Both of these guys, I mean, they've got some pretty good teams on board. Of course, Break joined by Pretender, Diana, and Akimbo. ProUrsin joined by Taco, Kango, Kickdown, and Trunks. I would ask you who are the players to watch here from those two teams. I think I kind of know what your answers are going to be, Andy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Diana absolutely looks the business. I mean, she had the ace. She had several clutches in the S&D that made that scoreline look more respectable. Topped the leaderboard, I think, in overall individual kills when it came to the hard point. So very, very strong. If you're looking across the team, ProUrsin, I feel like there was a couple of moments from Taco, who was playing on wires, who every now and again looked pretty solid out there.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is, you know, I think we just need everybody across the board here to go off on the respective teams if they want to have a good chance, because I think, you know, specifically looking at Team MediaTek again, you know, Diana was doing the majority of the work, especially when it came down to the search and destroy, and really I think she had a great go of things in the hard point as well. And then, you know, for the other side, I think we did have some standout moments, but I think for the majority of the time the team was just getting crushed by Andalex and Co. So we need to see something better out of these guys, and you guys can see right now the what they're doing right now. Once again, pretty static. It's just because I don't think we have feeds for what these guys are up to, but you know, nonetheless, I'd imagine they've got their heads down right now, just getting all concentrated, ready for this matchup.
Yeah, I think if I'm Team ProUrsin, I'm talking about, okay, how do we shut down Diana then? And I think that becomes a case of all four of them essentially calling out where she is on the map. You know, what is she trying to do? We saw how Team DalekJD dealt with her by just, okay, this is where she was last time. Let's make sure that that's shut down this time. Team ProUrsin can do that. There's plenty of opportunity for them to build themselves into this series. They've got to keep bringing that, and that comes from communication, keeping a cool head, and just working together as a squad. And if you can do that in Call of Duty, you can take on any foe.
Yeah, indeed you can. Well, I don't know what the maps it is right now, actually. My brain is completely just evacuated it from my mind. But we will have the maps for you guys very soon. And actually, do you know what? Our producer's amazing. She's just given us the map right now. It's going to be Fire Range Hardpoint. Is going to kick off this best of 3, I believe it will still be for this one. We're not moving over to a best of 5 format until the grand final. But nonetheless, Fire Range Hardpoint, again, this is a classic map originating from Call of Duty Black Ops, my first Call of Duty game, actually. And it holds a real good place in my heart. And as does Fire Range. It's been remastered a ton of times. I think at one point it was like a studio as well, and like Black Ops 2 as well. And it does work really well, I think, competitively.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you immediately think of this map. There's a lot of straight lanes that you can use an assault rifle, or if we were to make this into an S&D map, for example, a sniper rifle, where you can do bits of business. But also, it gets mixy when you start to get inside those buildings, when you start to get into that the close confined areas in between the different buildings. You have a lot of little channels to nip in between. And I love a map. I speak about maps like this, maps like Raid, that appear over the lifespan of the Call of Duty multiverse. They have these areas where you've got close quarter combat, but also your long lanes, and it just balances so well.
Yeah, I love, by the way, that you call it the Call of Duty multiverse. It makes me think that like Doctor Strange is going to come out of a portal and talk about kind of how like Fire Range is in danger and we need to go save it.
Who would be the Call of Duty Doctor Strange?
Maven.
Yeah, Maven.
It'd definitely be Maven, wouldn't it? Oh man, I really hope Maven sees this. If we're talking like in-universe characters, it has to be Captain Price, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, definitely can. Yeah, 100%. If he appears on he could appear literally any time. He's appeared in pretty much every game as well, across Warzone, mobile, and Call of Duty.
The Call of Duty multiverse, as
yes,
you like to. I just love the idea that there's like a multitude of Captain Prices that could potentially. I mean, there is technically 2, I suppose. There's the original Modern Warfare trilogy Captain Price, and then there's the new one, the reboot trilogy Captain Price, or trilogy. It's not a trilogy yet, but we're kind of just talking on a tangent.
I mean, for me, it's a multitude of Mavens. If you don't know who he is, legendary Call of Duty caster.
Just Maven everywhere.
Out of a character, but just multiple Mavens is way too much for this universe to deal with.
Anyway, regardless, enough about the multiverse of Call of Duty. Let's get into this universe. Let's talk about Fire and Range Hardpoint to kick off what will be the final best of 3 here in Call of Duty Mobile for one of these 2 teams. Andy, take it away.
You can already see it. Team ProUrsin getting in nice and early, and a couple of kills coming through. It's Diana again, picks up the opening 2 kills there for her side, and picks up the third as well, already setting a bit of pace in this one. As P1, we're expecting it to be open and scrappy. We're expecting this to be very much so divvied up between the two teams. But it's that rotation over to P2 that we've got to keep an eye on.
And look at these first kills coming through here from Team Break, doing a really good job at holding on towards this P1 time. RCXD card coming out right off the rip there from a player, and it will zone these players out. And as far as reading the spawns are concerned, this has been an excellent job from Team Break. They've managed to hold on for the vast majority of the time. Diana is already starting very strong. Hunter Killer Drone comes down, Predator Missile as well. The zoning of this hill has been mostly perfect coming out for that last 25 seconds or so from Team Break.
Well, we called it at the top of the show. We said about how good Diana looks. Finally gets shut down by Pro Urson. A kill feed lights up yellow, so an opportunity then for this squad to lock something down. I spoke about how important P2 can be. Unfortunately, neither side is really over there. It's contesting in no man's land, and right now no one there to as it opens up. It will actually fall then to Team Brick.
Yeah, this is a huge rotation early on. We always talk about kind of momentum building for one of these rosters, and if Team Break or Team MediaTek can earn that momentum off the back of not just P1 but P2 as well, it would be huge. But now Diana has a clutch moment on her hands. Ready for it, is she though? That's the question. Able to get the first kill on towards Pro Urson. That will buy some time for the rest of the team to come on through, but it doesn't matter. She's going to handle it herself with the RC car coming on through, and now the cavalry has arrived. The rest of the team are on their way, and with 30 seconds left here, this has been a solid hold with Diana now starting to streak out.
Yeah, and also has the Annihilator available too. This is very much so becoming the Diana show. Nice and early. Picks up another two in there. And Team Pro Urson, they are doing their absolute utmost to get in and close to this, but at some point they've got to start to consider then, let's rotate over to 3 and give this up. Hitting it this late, you're chasing lost cash.
Diana there dies off the back of a 7 spree, by the way. Crucial to holding the majority of time on P2, but now we move over towards the trailer for P3, and this has to be a good hill in my mind for Pro Urson and co. For Team 165 Hurst. They need to make sure they get early control, and that's a good start. Pro Urson comes through and picks up 2, but now that Predator Missile going to come down to try and zone players off. Great street utility coming out here from the Team MediaTek roster, excuse me, and now the kill's starting to follow as well. I said this needed to be a good rotation, and while it still could be, it's not quite as secure as you'd like for Team 165 Hz.
No, it's not. Not when you've got Diana running around. This is never going to be an easy task. Test, by the way, joining in with the kills, and a bit of a pinstripe feed. Diana with another 3-piece. Goodness me, someone shot this woman down, absolutely frying. Has not yet used the Annihilator, still in the back pocket to be used at any point.
And the kill feed will light up blue here. Pro Urson finally puts a stop to the streak of kills that were going in Team MediaTek's way. But is it going to be stopped, and stopped for good? That's the question. The answer seems, at least for now, to be no, as Diana picks up yet another double. How many will she get here in this game? It's going to be a triple for Diana. That will close out the remaining time here for what has been an indomitable start from Team MediaTek. Now, rotation over. This is a good chance here for Team 165 Hz to earn a vast majority of time, but they need this wave of gunfights. That is what kind of has eluded them so far. This next wave of gunfights has to go their way, and they're already facing pressure coming out from Testy Test, but the War Machine now in hands here for Taco. Pro Urson able to get another frag for himself, and it's a good start, but here comes the cavalry. Diana and Pretender combine for 2, and now Pro Urson and Kango kick down. They're in trouble.
Yeah, Diana pulling out the Annihilator, picking up 2 and breaking this. The War Machine usage there, I like it out of Taco. It's a good attempt to try and defend with that investment. Unfortunately, doesn't come through, and this is starting to steamroll. It's a 100-point lead now if you are Team Break, and out come Death Machines, but Diana just doesn't miss.
Frags on frags on frags. That's what Diana's got at the moment. The rest of the team too. Predator starting to heat up here with the Purifier, able to pick up a couple of kills. Kimbo getting a kill of their own as well. And, well, I think this needed to be a good hill, to be frank, for Team 165 Hz. They've only managed to accumulate 30 points across the entirety of the first set of rotations, as now we move over towards the second. Back towards P1 we go. And it is once again going to be Pretender here with the first touch. Predator Missile down from up high. Going to whip that Hunter Killer Drone out as well, but has some threats right up close and personal to deal with, and will only be able to deal with 1. Taco comes in for the trade, so for the moment here, it is Team 165 Hz, but again, it is but a moment. That moment is never a piece of calm for this Team 165 Hz roster, as once again, it is going to be Diana coming through here with a double.
Yeah, just something about the way Diana's playing. You get the feeling that she's not happy about not being in the final. Very much so, putting on a show in this one. I mean, if you are Team Pro Urson, you've got a couple of specialists available. You have just used a UAV, so opportunity there perhaps, but No, right now, it's all one way. Diana just continuing to frag out.
108 points and counting here, and this is a dangerous position, I think, for 165 Hertz to be in, because you've got to remember that last rotation didn't exactly go well for them. And now look at this positioning from Diana, looking for another kill. Oh, it's going to be a jump shot from up top. A Batman-esque play as Diana continues now on this spree. Just look at the amount of utility on board right now for Team MediaTek as they cross that 200-point barrier in just a second on this rotation. They've got Hunter killer drones, they've got Predator missiles, just so much to use.
Yeah, Diana, by the way, up to a 40 bomb. We've mentioned her name so much, and that's because you can count your lucky socks if you've got any other player in this lobby, even close to that. Pretender here, though, managing to get a nice kill to clean things up and continue to shut down this hard point. And at this point, it becomes about respect, dignity, if you are Team Proerson. At what point do you end up getting to here? Being 40-point club, probably not the best for morale.
Diana, 44 frags to her name. Can she hit the 50 bomb before this one is over, or will this will just be 2 shots? 25 seconds left now. It's ample time to finish this game off. Pretender with another double kill here in the kill feed. And they're just L-triggering down. They know that they're spawning over by tires, and there's not really much of a chance for a team 165 Hertz to get out of that spawn trap. Why not bring another streak down? You've got one ready to go. It gives you the information as to where those players are, so you can just L-trigger at them. This game, though, is done. It's Team Break come on through. Team MediaTek come on through with an indomitable victory, and Team 165 Hertz, I mean, that's their second battering of the day.
Yeah, the previous hard point that Team 165 Hertz played was a 250 to 57. This time, they don't even make the 40-point mark. Very difficult map for them there. I mean, one talking point, big time, Diana's show. And I think one of the things for me, actually, that kind of comes into that is how could Diana look then? The fact that Team Dalek managed to shut her down a little bit in that opening hardpoint that we had to start the day off gives me a bit more reinforcement actually towards how good they might be.
Are you getting a little bit more confident about it?
A little bit more confident.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just the way they played that. We can take a look at the replays now from that game. Again, this is probably going to be all Team MediaTek on our screens. Mostly Diana, just for the amount of streaks that she managed to grab. I think it was a 7 spree early on that really reinforced the hold of both P1 and P2. Back to back, by the way, and that early momentum, I think, just continued. Hardpoint upon hardpoint. Every opportunity the Team 165 Hertz had to find their way back in just tonight.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we might get to see a little bit of a final scoreboard there, but I genuinely think that there was not another player in the lobby that passed 15, I want to say. I was trying to keep an eye on it. Diana rocking 44 is just, it just says everything about the way that map went. And yeah, an exceptionally talented individual. Again, there's something that says to me that she's not happy she's not in that final. Clearly a big game player. But anyway, we move forward from a tough hard point if you are Team 165 Hertz, and I'd love to look to the S&D and say there's some hope here, but last time they got 6-0'd, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, it would be a bummer, wouldn't it, if Team 165 Hertz walked away from today's tournament without winning a single search and destroy round. I imagine this one will go a little bit better for them, but again, I think it's about stopping that momentum, because something they really struggled with in that last matchup versus Andalex & Co. was that, you know, I think as soon as Andalex & Co. got a little bit aggressive, started to get, you know, some momentum in their favor, they realized, hey, we can get away with just kind of running at these guys. They didn't really put a stop to that bleeding, and I think they need to do that here. They need to kind of draw out Team MediaTek, realize, hey, look, this is where these guys are going to be going, and really ready themselves for those gunfights, because again, that's not what they were doing in that Summit Search and Destroy. If they can apply that here to the Hacienda Search and Destroy, it should be interesting.
Yeah, no, and I touched on it when they played last time out, when they lost that 6-0 S&D last time out. It's the first bloods. It's putting yourself on a firm footing at the very start of the round. Last time they lost that battle 4-2, and in the 2 that they did get, it was traded out relatively quickly on one of them. The other one they were simply clutched up on. But if you're going to go into a search and destroy and hope to build yourself into any sort of advance, it's got to be those early picks. They've got to get those kills in.
I just think that, you know, people very often underestimate the importance of getting those first bloods, I think, in any given search and destroy, because it gives you so much more map control. You know, it's not just getting the first blood, it's actually moving off the back of those first blood, you know, garnering more map control, making sure you're in the right positions to ready yourselves for the inevitable kind of response that you will get. And if you can stop the trade, I mean, it's just huge. So, you know, I think we do need to see some improvements coming out from Team 165 Hertz in this Hacienda Search and Destroy, albeit, you know, we are ultimately in Hacienda. It's a very different map to the one that they played in their prior Search and Destroy matchup. I still do think, though, they're up against it in this one. This is going to be a hell of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, they've just got to shut down Diana. I mean, I know that that is a very easy thing to say and a very difficult thing to do, but Team Dalek did that. They recognized, you know, okay, last time round she came around on the flank.
Yep.
Let's just all wait for her to appear, deal with her by herself, and then press on to the rest of the team. Not only are you then opening up with a first blood, but you've removed the queen off of the chessboard, essentially. You've given yourself an opportunity then to press on to the rest of the players on what will be a much more level playing field.
Yeah, indeed, it is those adaptations again, you know, and I think they do benefit in a way, you know, they would probably have watched that prior matchup and realised, hey, this is what a player like Diana is likely to do in the Search and Destroy. They're very likely to go on a flank and try and kill us that way. If they can deal with that in Hacienda, it should be okay. The one thing I will say is Hacienda, it's a pretty forgiving map. It's relatively usual in terms of the 3-lane design that you expect. If Diana is going to go on a flank, you should be able to, generally speaking, predict where that flank is going to come from, because there's very few spots where you can get surprised by here on Hacienda.
Yeah, and it can take quite a bit of time to put that flank in place as well. If you need the information in order to make that happen. It is. It's a very long map. I mean, if you think, you know, you're trying to get a down rock side, hit all the way through water, through Lambo, and all the way through the back spawn, that is a long way to go. By then, if you are Team Prowess, and hopefully you've dealt with a bit of the problem in front of you, and you can then turn around and deal with Diana on the flank.
Well, we'll see how it goes. In the Hacienda Search and Destroy we go now, perhaps for the final time for Team 165 Hertz. Of course, the next map will be Control. We haven't seen one today thus far, so maybe we can finally get one as we now move on board with Diana for the first blood. The aggression will pay off. Pro-Urson down for the count, and the ego challenge on towards Kango kickdown as well. Massive gunfights taking place here as Akimbo going to be one to finish off Trunks.
Last man standing. Finish it.
Yeah. Wise, sorry, Taco playing on wires will manage to get one, so, you know, potential 1v4 scenario, but you can see here blue arrows shifting towards him, and actually he's going to get away here, so opportunity. The S&D rounds COD Mobile quite long, 1 minute 10 to play with.
Yeah, quite a lot of time to work with here. Might be able to get a free kill onto Testy, and there it is. The kill is made. So nicely done. Of course, that is actually Break playing under the Testy Test tag, so massive gunfight to get, but still you've got Diana and Pretender to deal with, and you could probably argue that these are the two strongest players on the roster, so fight far from over here. As you say, 50 seconds left on the clock. A plethora of time. Ultimately, though, Andy, the problem is, I mean, Diana and Pretender are aware of it. The bomb is down right at their feet.
Yeah, that's what they were having a little to do about there. Diana as well is going to spot Taco, and I don't think I've seen her lose a 1v1 all day, so wasn't going to miss that one there. It is 1-0 up, and yeah, you spoke about it there. The bomb's down, it's in the middle of nowhere, and essentially that's a problem in itself. Once the defenders know where it is, good luck getting it back.
Good start coming out there from Team Break. How do they follow it up now? Once again on another defensive attempt. Another offensive attempt, we should say, from Team 165 Hertz. Cut short, though, as Diana once again drawing the first blood in the exact same place. And I don't think they have a Scooby as to where she's gone.
Not a clue. And Diana here is just going to play information.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no. Give us something snazzy, Diana. For the frag kill, oh, it's a tag, but not a kill, but it doesn't matter. The kill will be there on towards kickdown anyway. And that's bomb down. Once again, we're in a very similar situation to what we had last round, Addy.
Yeah, and the hit mark with the grenade likely provided information, which I think Diana's kind of checking for. Finds Taco, shuts him down. Trunks has managed to pick up a kill elsewhere, but about to get shot in the back from Akimbo, and oh, those look like mine.
No! Close the window, Trunks. Windy shots coming through. Or Akimbo, excuse me. Trunks will get the kill. Will punish Akimbo, and he's still alive.
Yeah, Trunks away by the skin of his teeth or a strong breeze. We'll never know, but Diana's still on the board, so Trunks a lot to do. Bomb down, and 40 seconds left to play with. This is tough in the clutch.
1 versus Diana, just not going to work out there. Good effort, though, from Trunks, I think, on the repositioning. Recognised that that was probably the best play he had. Unfortunately for them, Diana wise to it. She seems to have greater map awareness at the moment, as did Break, to be fair. So second round on the board now for Team MediaTek. And this strategy, I mean, why change it, right? Diana continuing to push over towards the B site. All she needs to do is pre-aim towards Lambo She gets the information, but this time around, a change up in strategy coming out here from Team 165Hz. They want to get control of the middle of the map, and it will work as Pro Urson with the first blood towards Pretender, looking for the second, the long-range shots to come on through, and what an adaptation this is from Team 165Hz, straight through the middle of the map, and it's going to leave Akimbo in a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, absolutely. They managed to catch Team Break sleeping and pick up a lot of damage. Akimbo is shooting at a leaf, I think, and Pro Urson will clean that one up, and that's as clean as you can ask for. The adaptation's there. They managed to remove Diana off the board as well, and it wasn't the first pick, it was the third in there, so doing plenty.
And this is what we're talking about. It's making sure you adapt to your opposition, and we saw it from MrDalekJD and co earlier on versus this very roster, and it's good to see it coming out from Team 165Hz here as they garner their first round on the board. Now can they follow it up with a second? As they try the same strategy again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This time, I think Team MediaTek, they're wise to it. They're not going to give anything away for free.
Yeah, there is a switch up here. Team Break trying to push through the middle, but Trunks is just going to shut down Break himself as he falls. That's the first blood again. And oh, Diana, though, getting aggressive and manages to pick one up.
This is that adaptation coming right back in your face, though, as Pretender and Diana not going to rest on their laurels this time around. Diana not settling for anything but a double. Perhaps a triple on the board as well, as now Taco left up in a 1 versus 3.
Wires. Taco, my apologies. Taco playing on account Wires is not 1v3 and making a lot of noise. And Diana's just going to slide, check, hit it, and yeah, I mean, as soon as it becomes that 1v1 scenario with Diana, it's just so hard to predict it going any other way. I mean, she's currently 10-1, and the one round she has been removed from, it was a loss for Team Break. So Team Pro Urson really got to deal with her.
Alrighty. Well, good adaptations coming up for both of the teams at the moment. This feels like a really competitive search and destroy. Taco trying to get the shots off, and now I think this becomes a much more important gunfight to win, especially considering Pro Urson and Kickdown have already fallen. Nade going out, that'll force Diana out of position, but it is not enough to grab the frag. Quite literally, Trunks now the last man left alive in a 1 versus 4, and they are cut short. These gunfights in the middle of the map, Andy.
There's a universe there that plays out differently. I love the use of the grenade to flush Diana out, stop that health regen. It nearly ends up coming through, and if that does happen, Trunks is also then in a position where he nearly gets 2 crossing over each other. That could have gone a very different way. You're right, it does feel much more contested, but still, it's that power piece on the board that needs to be shut down. And look at this hit, though.
Well, it's a change in strategy coming out now as we switch over towards the offensive side for Team MediaTek. And they will have a free plant if they go for it. Trophy system going down as well. This indicates they definitely know what they're doing. And the bomb will go down uncontested. So this is going to have to be a retake coming out now from Team 165Hz.
Will indeed. And Taco here is going to push up and trying to come in from tin, but Break's going to shut down Pro Urson. Captain on Captain Love right there. And it's the first blood and a bomb down for Team Break, an unassailable position.
It's tough. You've already lost one and you'll lose a second as well. Look at the positioning coming out now on the defense of this bomb site. So Anna will fall though. It's a good start on the retake. Still 20 seconds left. That's ample time to grab the defuse, but you've got to be fast. You can't afford to just sit there and wait for them to approach you, because it's very likely that they won't. Trunks falls, and now it's down to Taco in a 1 versus 3. He's able to pick up 1, but that is all he has been gifted. And now it is Team MediaTek here who find themselves 1 search and destroy round shy of grabbing 3rd place.
Yeah, Break hasn't been the person we've been shouting about a lot this afternoon, but it's a massive kill there to shut down Pro Urson on the pinch and stop that collapse coming in on the retake. A huge play indeed. It puts them just 1 round away from victory.
A lot of chances to get it done as well. Team 165Hz are 5 rounds shy of a victory of their own. But look, this question coming out now. Pro Urson perhaps with a chance to catch up for his team, and unfortunately, he is but an island all by himself. No trades to be found, and the bomb will now go down. The fast reactions from Team MediaTek here.
Indeed. And lines one up, and it's so close. Taco nearly gets it, but Trunks cleans that one up. So 3v2 retake.
Potential, Kickdown wins that one, it's possible, but no, it's the answer. Break to close things out. A 6-1 victory in search and destroy. They win a round, but no more than that. Team 165Hz will take 4th place in the tournament, and therefore Team MediaTek in 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he's just shutting down Diana. We spoke about it over and over and over again, but how good was she? And it's taking situations into her own hands. There was the round that Team MediaTek lost. It was when Diana was picked up kind of sleeping in mid, napping a little bit, so she adjusted. She went and took a hold of the situation in middle, dealt with it, and even that final round, picked up the bomb herself, planting it. Great stuff.
Yeah, it's just incredible work, I think, from Team MediaTek there in the search and destroy. And to be honest, I think even with what we saw from Adalix and co earlier on, I'm still actually convinced that was one of the better search and destroy performances we've seen, because, you know, not only did we see, you know, great play coming out in the 1-versus-1 situations and such, just when it came down to the head-to-head gunfights, but actually, in terms of the adaptations we saw, I mean, it's not like Team 165Hz were absent from that, right? Nope. You know, they made the right decisions, you know, they were adapting correctly, but it was great play, I think, from Team MediaTek in response. I mean, they knew exactly what to do. Diana in the first couple of rounds here, you're going to see it. You know, this early positioning from her, it works in the first round. She doesn't change anything for the second. And of course, those adaptations do come up for round number 3, but I kind of love it. There's actually some depth here to this search and destroy map. Yeah,
100%. I mean, you think about, like, for example, the attempted 4v4 retake out of Team 165Hz. It's a collapse attempt. They surround that bomb site from various angles and attempt to collapse in on it. They win the opening gunfight, then it's very different. We've got a clip here on screen, that one there, where Trunks throws the grenade out, tries to flush out Diana. If that goes the other way, this is a much closer S&D. There was indeed plenty to this. Just that little bit of class, I think, that ends up overshadowing things at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, I think we'll talk about Team 165Hz here first before we talk about Team MediaTek, because I think there is definitely some promise to be had with this roster again. You know, for the most part, we have seen some plays, just like we did see in that search and destroy, which shows that they do have talent on the team. I think just it's been a matter of kind of realizing that when it comes down to these crucial moments in the game, Zanny.
Yeah, 100%. Lots to take away from it. The adjustments, the heads-up plays, the communication that must have come through from that. Very good things indeed. And if you can build on a foundation like that, you've got plenty of opportunity, plenty of scope for the future.
Yeah, indeed you do. So unfortunately for Team 165Hz, they will be in 4th place. Commiserations to them, but you know what? I think it's a valiant effort, and as we said, you know, there are definitely some positives to take away. From today, they had some great moments. Again, it's just about consistently putting them out. Maybe we'll see players like this again in future Call of Duty Mobile tournaments. It would be awesome to see them. But let's talk about Team MediaTek then. It's time to talk about the victors here of the 3rd place playoff matchup. These guys, you know, epic performances. I think even in their previous matchup versus Team Air Trigger, you know, they still showed that they could compete with these guys. It was just a matter of, or Team, sorry, Portal, I've just said Team Air Trigger, but they didn't play Team Air Trigger, they played Team Portal. These guys, you know, they still played very well. They gave them a good challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I truly, again, I think that someone like Diana, you spoke there about hopefully seeing some of these players appear in future Call of Duty Mobile tournaments. That individual, she put on a performance. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of that name in the future. So, yeah, you've definitely got yourself here some players that can do things. I mean, we've spoken only relatively about Diana, but there's across the entire squad, no one else was doing anything wrong. Everyone kind of chipped in at points where they needed to. So, yeah, definitely some talent across the team.
Yeah, indeed. I believe we've got an interview actually pretty much ready to go with our 3rd place winner, at least. This is actually going to be Break here, I believe, on our screens. Break, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Hi, how you doing, mate? You just won 3rd place here in today's tournament. How are you feeling?
Good. 3rd place winners, that's one way to put it. Yeah, really good. I super enjoyed it, considering I played maybe 2 hours previously. Sorry if this is shaking, by the way. I'm holding my phone with my hand, so
okay.
So I only played it for 2 hours, and huge props to the team and Diana, who was unbelievable. Super good player. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, you've touched on it there. Yeah, you touched on Diana and her performance. How did you go about pulling your squad together on this one? Because obviously you yourself being the captain, you've gone around and grabbed the team together. So do talk us through your team a little bit and how you know them.
Well, Pretender and Akimbo are subscribers on my channel, and I put out a pretty desperate plea this morning because I did have some teammates that agreed to it, but they pulled out. So I had to get some people together, and Dan is a caster for COD Mobile, and she said she wanted to play. So it was put together super last minute, and huge thank you to those guys coming and helping me out. Like I'm super chuffed that we can get 3rd place, you know.
Yeah, it was very well deserved. Well, you know, I think that the last question to ask here before we kind of send you on your way is, you know, future Call of Duty Mobile tournaments, you know, how much did you kind of enjoy today, and are you looking forward to maybe playing some more in the future?
you know what, right? I'll be honest, I don't really play too many mobile games. I'm more of a PC player, but I've been so impressed by, I keep saying it in my chat, I've been so impressed by Call of Duty Mobile. I had no idea that mobile games were this good. So yeah, it's something that I will look to play in the future. It's unbelievably well made and produced, so yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, mate, for joining us here on the interview. Again, congratulations on 3rd place.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, well, that was Break here with a quick interview. Awesome guy, Andy.
Yeah, very much so. Seems a very wholesome individual. And the fact that he's talking about how much he's enjoying the game to his chat and so on. I mean, I said it before as well. I played a little bit of this. It is a great game. It's a fantastic game. I was very surprised and impressed by it myself. So, yeah, I definitely echo his sentiment there.
Yeah, indeed. It's just, you know, we love Call of Duty Mobile, and we've loved seeing it so far today. And that means what our 3rd place playoff matchup is done. Again, congratulations to Break, walking away with 3rd place, and commiserations to Team 165 Hertz, as they will now be walking away in 4th place. But we've got one more match to go. It's time for the grand finals very, very soon. Team Portal versus Team Air Trigger. Your predictions for the tournament still in it, Andy?
They are indeed, and I've kind of flip-flopped a bit back and forth here. Obviously, I went with Team Portal, and they came out and had a great first series, really, really strong indeed. But then Team Andalex came out and had a ridiculously dominant series, so I was kind of nervous. But with how good, you know, we've spoken about Diana and how good she was, and the fact that Team Dalek managed to shut that down, Team Portal shut her down, it kind of given me a bit of reinforced belief. So I'm still strong. I'm standing by my prediction.
Alrighty, well, that grand final will be coming very soon. Of course, unfortunately for you guys, you're going to have to wait a little bit for it. We're going to send it to a quick break. When we return, it's the grand final, the conclusion of today's tournament.
Very excited. This stream is sponsored by Asus ROG and their amazing new phone. This is the ultimate gamer phone. Look how beautiful this thing is. Everyone that's taking part is going to be getting some Asus goodies, but the winners are going to be getting hooked up with some insane goodies. So that's what we're going to be fighting for. Purifier on COD Mobile on a Cold War map, but I'm thing, and we've got the Easter eggs. Bit. Oh my god.
Let's go! It's the ROG phone. And it's amazing.
But this attaches to the phone and it's like a cooler. And also, you see that on the back? This thing is wild.
And this is going to sound very #addy, but the refresh rate is insane. I actually can't believe it, how good it looks.
Welcome back everybody here to the Asus ROG Phone 60 Ultimate Showdown. It is about time to get into our grand final. My name is Infinity and I'm joined by Enigma here on the casting desk. Andy, mate, we've had 3 matches worth of Call of Duty Mobile action and it all comes down to this. 2 teams remaining in our tournament.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this because we've seen huge highlights out of both sides. You know, we talk about the dominance of that Andalek series and how strong they looked out there, the teamwork from DalekJD and co, and how they dealt with a threat that was possibly the biggest we've seen throughout the whole tournament. So, yeah, definitely got ourselves a hell of a series coming up, and what better time than in the grand finals.
Alrighty, well, before we talk about the finals then and the teams in it, let's talk about the phone itself. Of course, as we've been saying throughout the entirety of the show, I mean, maybe this is your first time joining, as here's your first time hearing this. There's a giveaway going on. You guys at home have a chance to win this gorgeous device and all of its wonderful features. Just check the link below and you guys can go and get yourself involved in such a giveaway. But also, sneaky little thing, there's codes being given out through today's broadcast. And here's another one! Get it now! Grab the code while you can, and you guys will get an extra entrance into that giveaway. And trust me, I mean, Andy, you've sold the phone a lot today, let's be honest. You've been kind of like our salesman here. I mean, it's a wonderful phone. Everyone wants one.
Yeah, no, I got to play with it earlier, basically, and I had a lot of fun with it, was very impressed by the whole thing. I mean, you heard it throughout that video there. The refresh rate is actually insane. You see it with your own eyes, and it's a beautiful, beautiful display there. It's a great device, and not only that, they spoke about the cooler, the way this plugs in. You've got the button functionality on the back here, controller functionality, so many fantastic things. If mobile gaming is your thing, this is the phone for you.
Well, we have a grand final to talk about. Before we get into the specifics of the teams, though, let's talk about how we got here, show you guys what the bracket looks like. Of course, this was single elimination throughout the entirety of today, and that means, to be fair, these guys only had to win the 1 match to get to this point. Of course, that was a best of 3. We'll start with the left side then, Andy. Team Portal. They beat Team MediaTek to get here.
They did. It was a 250-112 in the Hardpoint, 6-3 in the S&D. It's just, again, solid as a team. There wasn't individuals necessarily to pick out here. I was a big fan of how DalekJD himself took over incidents where needed. So, for example, they were up against that team with Diana in it. We've spoken about how good she was. And he was the one to make sure that he was dealing with that threat throughout. So, very much so a captain leading by example.
Well, you know, it's a good job you pointed that out because another team in the grand finals also had pretty much exactly the same thing. Andalek's Team Air Trigger, they beat 265 Hertz. Their map scores for that one was 252.57 and a 6-0 in the Search and Destroy. A statement S&D victory, and I think they proved to us just how good they were. A clash of titans in the grand finals. I'm so excited to get into this one. We should probably waste no time really talking about the rosters, what we have for the grand finals itself. I think pretty much everybody across the board, before we even get into the rosters, we know that they're really good players.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this Team Andalek side in particular, we saw the confidence that they brought to the table. We're talking quick scopes.
Yeah.
We're talking knife plays, a 1v3 for Pro Acer where he just gets chased down by 3 players with knives. And the kind of confidence that they're bringing to the table is hard to overlook. That being said, I'm staying with my prediction. I'm going with Mr. DalekJD and his co, Team Portal to take this.
You know, it's kind of funny because on isolated into that matchup we saw from Team Air Trigger, right, versus Team 165 Hertz. I mean, it was dominant. There's no other way to say it, right? But then again, you know, we look at the third place matchup and we saw what Team MediaTek were able to do to Team 165 Hertz. So I'm kind of curious to see what Team Air Trigger look like versus Team Portal in this grand final, because it's a very different beast to what they had to face in the semi-final. But I'm actually going to go with Team Air Trigger here. I feel like, you know, you two, we always have to be kind of in contention when it comes to the predictions. So that's what I'm going to say coming into this grand final. I mean, you have to admit, Team Air Trigger, they were impressive in that semi-final.
Even if Team Air Trigger weren't impressive, you're just going to go against my pick, Brody. So it's all good, though, because I back my boys, and Team Dalek coming out on top of this team are going to pick this up, run away with this series, and Alex and Co can bring all the talent they want. I'm backing my boys.
All right, he's backing his boys. That sounds like caster bias there for you folks at home. You guys can send him all of the things you want on Twitter. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We do have the first map available. It's going to be Standoff on Hardpoint, I believe, in what is going to be a best of... We haven't even mentioned this, by the way. Change of format for the grand finals, by the way, folks. It's not going to be best of 3. It's going to be a best of 5. And that means something that's eluded us so far this tournament, we are finally going to get, it's going to be the control. We haven't seen this. In mobile, it plays very different. It's a lot more fast-paced. Yeah. And there's a few little differences in rules comparatively to the regular kind of standard Call of Duty competitive, yeah. Which we'll get into when we get to that. But nonetheless, I'm just excited to get a control finally.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're right there to bring out about how it plays quite quick, which I like. Coming traditionally from a more traditional background in Call of Duty, Control came in and we were a big fan favourite of it because of the pace that it brought, the difference in tactics and so on. Over the last couple of years, it's slowed down a bit, I think, because teams have learned how to play it, but we get that pace back when we talk about Call of Duty Mobile. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. We've avoided it so far with 3-2-0s, but we're going to definitely get at least that in so far today. And then maybe we see a second Hardpoint and a second S&D.
Maybe. I mean, it would be wonderful to finish on a game 5, wouldn't it? I think you and I would both like to see that. But as we said, Hardpoint and Search and Destroy, Hardpoint and Standoff is where we're kicking off this best of 5. This is probably, I personally would argue that this is one of my favorite map mode combinations in the history of Call of Duty esports. It is just wonderful. Standoff plays so well. It's you know, standard kind of 3-lane design, but with a little twist. Oh, you know, it's not just kind of like you've got your lane, it goes straight down the middle, and then obviously, you know, your 2 lanes on the outer edge, which are, you know, in a standard kind of shape, if you will. You know, it's classic Treyarch map design, and it's just such a great map. It plays so well on the hard points, and we're kind of excited to see it here. But anything kind of you want to point out here regarding to the standoff before we get into it?
I think it's, I mean, you've spoken about how good the map is, and that's definitely a factor. But when you're talking about, for example, Money Hills, P2 can definitely be one. Grandma's can be a really, really good hill to lock down as well. That's going to be P3 that you're going to be rotating on over to. And the thing as well, when you start talking about adding in things like score streaks and adding in the specialists that we get in this, you really can shut these down and bring up a lot of points. So teams, again, early on rotation, getting themselves locked down. For me, the start of this one is going to be crucial to see who then takes that.
Yeah, indeed it will be. I think Standoff is going to be a huge map for the series. Of course, following that one, we have the maps number 2 and 3 for you guys, at least. Fire and Range, Search and Destroy, and Summit Control. 2 very interesting map mode combinations, I think, to follow the Standoff. But I do want to talk, you know, kind of about the differences that we've seen between these two teams so far while we wait for the first map to get underway. Because, you know, I think something from Team Andalek's team Air Trigger, excuse me, specifically, is that these guys were very good with their streak and specialist usage. I think it's something that does set up Call of Duty Mobile apart from the rest of its kind of Call of Duty esports family, is that you do have these specialists to work with, kind of like, you know, classic Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It feels weird to say classic Call of Duty Black Ops 4, but it was a while ago now. You know, it's great to see kind of specialist usage, and it can really change the entirety of a game, and we saw that from Team Air Trigger. They were using their specialists extremely well.
Yeah, and I'm thinking as well, in particular, when it comes to those specialists, something like a Purifier, you're sat inside of Grandma's, you're sat inside of that warehouse for P2, you're trying to run into a Purifier and in through a doorway, bottlenecks, you're just going to get cooked. So I'm fully expecting to see plenty of them. Sure, you're going to see the Annihilator in there, Death Machine in there, but I'm expecting to see more Purifiers than we have so far through this afternoon.
Yeah, Purify has been a weird one. I was kind of intrigued to see what we would see in terms of like the meta for specialist weaponry, because you know there are a few that you generally speaking see in competitive Call of Duty Mobile. What you would see in the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships, you know, you'd see the Annihilator, the Sparrow, the Purifier, and the Gravity Vortex gun. Yep. Those are generally like the 4 that you would see. Like maybe sometimes you see the Death Machine as well. That's something that maybe would come out. I think for the majority of it today, though, it's been mostly focused on the Purifier. I think we've seen a bit of Annihilator gameplay. But again, when it comes, and War Machine as well, which to be fair, I think that was a curveball for me, because we don't see that, generally speaking, in the Call of Duty Mobile World Championships. But yeah, I think the one for me that kind of does separate itself out from the rest is the Annihilator. It's very easy to use. That's not to take anything away from the players here in the context, but the Annihilator can be extremely powerful. So much so that I think, if you remember correctly, in Black Ops 4, players are like, we're not using that anymore. Yeah, they removed it from the rule set for a reason. Yeah,
well, I think the Annihilator is very impactful. You're right about that. But when I just think about the hills in this map and how close quarters they are, one of the few outplays that you can really have of an Annihilator is to almost slide in past it, and then that's very hard to track with the Annihilator. So I think that then kind of undoes it. Whereas with a Purifier, it's a flamethrower, man. Like, people are sliding in on the end of this thing.
Yeah, Purifiers, I think I definitely agree with you. I think the Purifier is going to be a really good specialist choice for this map. I think the Gravity Vortex gun is going to be another one as well, right? Because you got to remember that this thing is a zoning tool. For Hardpoint, it is one of the more powerful specialist weapons that you can use in Call of Duty Mobile. And, you know, I think if you use it correctly to try and zone off players away from a hardpoint, say you're in a positive position, say you're up, and you want to hold full 60 on a hill, well, just, you know, utilize your Gravity Vortex gun to make sure players can't find their way through the entry points into the hardpoint. That is what I want to see here. But again, I think it's a mixed bag in terms of what we actually get from these players in the hardpoint. In all the game, it's really with the specialist weapons. It really is a mixed bag depending on kind of what they prefer. And I think that's kind of ultimately what this comes down to. It comes down to preference. If the players are comfortable with a Purifier, they're going to use a Purifier, and that's kind of what we're looking at in this setting.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%. And that's one of the things that we spoke before the event about, again, meta and what that is, especially when it comes to the World Championships. But what do these individuals want to bring to the table? Because these are content creators that have gotten to grips with the game. Some of these are players that have played throughout various levels of the game. So they are going to bring an extra bit of spice. You know, KSP, for example, dominates the World Championships. We haven't seen much of that today. We've seen lots of the M4, a couple of ICRs thrown in there, a couple of other different bits. So yeah, it's great to watch that variety come into this game. Again, it's a fantastic game. Got all the best bits of Call of Duty in one place.
Yeah, indeed. If this is your first time, guys, watching Call of Duty Mobile, well, it is a wonderful game. You know, obviously, you and I, we've had a chance to cast multiple Call of Duties. We cast Warzone together. We've casted multiplayer Call of Duty Vanguard, and obviously all the preceding Call of Duties together as well. And, you know, I think Call of Duty Mobile, as we always say, it is kind of like a wonderland of Call of Duty. The Call of Duty multiverse, as you referred to it earlier on, right? Where it's just like the best bits of Call of Duty from over the years. I mean, if you're even remotely a fan of Call of Duty, say you've only ever played one, you know, console or PC Call of Duty title, well, there is something in Call of Duty Mobile for you, because it doesn't just take the maps, it takes the weapons, it takes the specialist weapons from the games where those were present as well. It really is. I think it's just a wonderful addition to the Call of Duty franchise. And I'm not just saying that because we're sitting here casting it. I'm saying that because as a genuine fan, it is so fun to play and just for it to exist. So we love Call of Duty Mobile. We're so grateful to be here casting it. It's wonderful being here with you, mate. You know, it's always fun. That's the only compliment you're going to get from me, full stop, ever. That's the last one. We're going to have the grand final here in just a second. Map number 1 is going to be Hardpoint on Standoff, and here we go for all the beans. It's going to be Team Air Trigger taking on Team Portal.
Will indeed, and already you can see both sides full of confidence off the back of their victories and getting themselves forward. MrDalekJD is going to rig some shots out from top brown. You can see a flank already coming in, by the way. So Team Anderlecht's perhaps already thinking P2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad strategy, is it? You know, rotating to make sure you influence the spawns for that inevitable rotation towards P2. It's actually a classic strategy that we've seen before in competitive Call of Duty. If you, again, recall all the way back to Black Ops 2, and even in Black Ops Cold War, flipping the map early on, it can absolutely be an asset to you, and I actually really like the strategy from Team Air Trigger. The one thing you kind of do want to be cautious of, Andy, though, is that you don't, in doing so, give away a lot of time on P1.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what you're seeing here, as the MrDalekJD side are going to be up by 30 points already, taking the lion's share of this hill. And I agree with the strategy to rotate for P2, because it can be a money hill. But if you give up all this time, you've bought yourself nothing.
And I think that might well have been what happened here. I think that flip of the spawns might well come back to bite them, because look at the amount of time that's been accumulated off the back of P1 here from Team Portal. Everybody doing their part, and we're already seeing some streaks off the back of that. And this early streak momentum that we were talking about previously in some of the previous matches today, it can be detrimental, because you can then use those streaks to break them through. But it hasn't even been streak usage. What was an early rotation from Team Air Trigger has completely baffled them. They've now lost control of P2, and this is a great early game advantage potentially coming out here from Team Portal.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we were expecting a very tight, close affair. MrDalekJD, Team Portal, and his squad are definitely not down for that, accelerating into a nearly 70-point lead just at the end of P2s. In fact, we're only halfway through P2. This could get very ugly very, very quickly.
It still could. It's that next rotation that really is going to be the make or break moment here for this in the game. But still, 20 seconds left. There's potential here as Adrian comes through, wants to put a triple together, but cannot get it done. Just 2 kills. That will not be enough to break on through. And this is what we were talking about, right, Andy? We talk about the rotation. I mean, look at number 1 already, mate. On the mini-map, number 1, Liam Twin has already rotated. That will influence those spawns.
Yeah, Liam on his bike rotates on early. That means Deck will spawn next to him on the new hill. And even it gets better and better and better, the story, if you look at it. Jake has himself a death machine ready to go, and a full set of streaks. Out goes the hunter-killer, looking for someone to take down.
This is really not a good position for a Team Air Trigger to be in there, down by 100 points or so, just 1 point to their name. And now here come those streaks raining down from the heavens. MrDalekJD going to get 2 with a Predator missile. Nice nade from Deck. He's going to take out Adrian from the equation as well. And I mean, just look at the map control right now. The problem is that these guys, they're going to continue to spawn over by that tractor, and it's such a tough hill to break.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen Jake stack up on his streaks about 4 times here. Every time he uses something, he's then got another one in the pocket. And Anderlecht's just trying to stay up. He only has 1 frag at a minute. Slow start out of him. He will fall. Kill feed mostly yellow. So he just continues to pile on top. And at some point here, Team Anderlecht, they're just going to have to give this up. For me here, back on up. Get yourself set up for the next hill.
Jake finally going to fall there after what was a heavens know how long streak, to be honest with you. Just incredible play coming out. And you can look, again, we talk about the utility. Look at the top right now of your screens, folks, because this is what dominance looks like. They have so much utility to work with. The death machines, the purifier, the annihilator, all ready to go. And the rotation has been perfect too. This is one of the harder hills to break. And now we have MrDalekJD almost locks onto a third, but the double will be enough here to garner some control. Another double now coming out from Jake Twin as well. This is just, it's a horrendous look, I think, right now for Team Air Trigger, because they are struggling to get into this hardpoint game.
Yeah, and there's just very little here that is available if you are Team Anderlecht, Team Air Trigger. You're looking for various ways in, and Jake's just stood at the door with a death machine in hand, frying you before you get anywhere near it. And at the end of our first set of rotations, I mean, this could easily be a 180-point lead for your Team Portal squad. Jake, again, fully stacked out with streaks.
Yeah, this is something. This is by far our most dominant hardpoint game that we've seen so far, and it's in our grand finals. But hey, look, maybe there is a chance here for Team Air Trigger to find their way back in the game. Look, this is the second set of rotations now coming on through. Look, the positive outlook I always take with these situations, Andy. If a team can do it to you, you can do it to them.
Yeah, absolutely, but right now, I mean, for me as well, Team Anderlecht, they're not giving themselves a chance. They're not rotating. We spoke about this beforehand. It is always, always Team Portal getting there first, being at the new hill. And the death machine gets shut down as well. Jake showing what he has and beating the death machine to the punch. And oh, goodness me, he gets shish kebabbed in the corner though.
Yeah, this is something. About to break the 200-point barrier.
Oh, goodness me.
And this Purifier is still going to be out. Sparrow now starting to get, well, I think he's just trying to have fun with it at this point, right? You just want to kind of get the knife out, you know, have some fun with the game, because this game isn't exactly going in your favor, but the kill feed now most certainly in favor here of MrDalekJD and Team Portal. Kills in the hill. And I think the bigger problem is, right, I mean, I was going to say they don't have rotation. There is one player who's actually managed to go for the early rotation, and in Syrah, as long as they don't overextend themselves, that should be theirs. But they got broken pretty fast last time around.
Yeah, they did. Adrian was spawned there this time, and unfortunately, though, if you look across the map, you've already got players in yellow getting themselves over towards P2. Anderlecht will manage to cut down Deck, but honestly, I'm struggling to see a way back into this. This could well be our final hill of map 1.
Yeah, this is fast. This is very, very fast coming out here from Team Portal. This was a dominant hardpoint game. Might not be over just yet, though. There's some resistance that's finally been found here by Team Air Trigger as the kills going in their favor. How can they continue it on, though? Maybe build some specialists up themselves. Maybe build some streaks up themselves for that potential rotation. That will be the toughest break, I think, of all. But here comes potential hit. 25 seconds left here. Now not enough time on the board for Team Portal to close it out the back of this hill. They will need that rotation. You can already see that happening from MrDalekJD.
Yeah, and this is the difference maker, really. Already, if you are Team Portal, you are on your way to the next hill. You're on your bike. You've moved away. You don't need to continue to go and fight this old hill. You can if you want, because you're just going to spawn in a preferable position because your teammates have done the dirty work and rotated in fundamental Call of Duty hardpoint. Team Andalex here are going to have to punch through the front door of Grandma's to stop this one ending right here.
This needs to be a perfect break coming through. Just 24 seconds shy of victory. Team Portal, and maybe this could be it. Sparrow comes through. He's got the first, and he's in. Now it's about holding it, because for a moment, he is by himself. Has so much to do, and unfortunately cannot even get past the first barrier. It's Jake Twin coming in from up high. He will pick up the frag, and now it's Team Portal, they're in.
No, indeed. You can see the pinch coming on. And oh dear, Andalex gets his grenade throw all wrong. And actually, there's 2 kills that go the way of Team Air Triggers. So they are putting up a bit of a fight here, but it's the last chance saloon.
Here we go. 7 points shy. Victory. Could this be it? Sparrow manages to find his way in. Still ample time here for Team Portal to close it out off the back of this hill. And of course, they have the rotation to fall back on as well. So perhaps one more go for gunfights and they will give up. But maybe they don't need to, as the kill's starting to go in their favor. Sierra has so much to do. They fall foul to Liam in for 2, Liam for 3. And that should be the closing full stop on this game. Maybe not. Sparrow now trying to put a stop to them. He's able to pick up 1. Liam, can he get the final kill? Yes, you can. But no, they still can't get that 250th point. And actually nobody from either team has made their way to the rotation. So actually this could well be Team Air Trigger getting in first.
Yeah, and it's a foot race to do. Indeed, you are right. Team Air Trigger managed to get themselves into a huge gunfight here, though. Liam Twin will win it, and Liam Twin will see the final kill through, the final moments to take that. Where was that resistance throughout the early stage of that game? If we get that kind of level of performance from Team Andalex early on, that turns into a bloodbath.
I don't know what happened there, Andy. They woke up.
All of a sudden.
They were just incredible. Incredible performance there. What a great first game of our grand final.
I know, I'm not going to lie, we got to about 2/3 of the way through that and I was like, oh dear,
yeah, this is
oh dearie me. And then all of a sudden it just burst into life. And I don't as well think that it was Team Portal taking their foot off the trigger. They suddenly seemed stunned by the resistance that was coming back at them. So, I mean, usually you'd come away from a map with a scoreline like that and just think, this is tough. But that bit of fire shown at the end there, opportunity then, perhaps, for Team Air Triggers to get themselves in.
I think the key thing is as well, because they did, I think it's fair to say, get battered early on in that game. Coming back like that late on into the game, yes, you weren't able to succeed because I think the odds are stacked against you in that position, right? There's not really much you can do. At the end of the day, it's momentum, right? I mean, it's a good way to finish the game. Yes, you didn't win. Yes, you might still feel a little dejected, but at the end of the day, you finished on a high.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we're going to see here in some of your replay features, that's not bugged. That is 78-1. At points, this was just an absolute rollover. It gets far worse than that, by the way. And then, yeah, you're right. You're going to be dejected that you lost that first game. You're going to be asking questions about what happened at the start. Complete lack of rotations coming out of the French side. But at the end, you showed you had that bit of steel about you. And that's something that you just can't teach. That's something that comes from camaraderie amongst the team. So, I don't know. They've suddenly put a couple of questions into this.
Yeah, just what a performance. You know, to be fair, we're giving credit to Team Air Trigger for making their way back into the game, or at least towards the end of the game. I don't know if we can say back into the game, but, you know, they certainly found some fire in the last couple of hard points. But, you know, we have to give credit where credit is due. Team Portal, that is a dominant performance. I mean, everyone was firing on all cylinders. Everybody knew what they needed to do to get the victory, and they did exactly that. If you want to make a statement in the grand final, that's how you do it, Andy.
It is indeed. It is indeed. I mean, we are indeed at the point where the two best teams of the afternoon are playing against each other, and they came out, Team MrDalekJD come out and absolutely smoke it off the bat. So yes, a statement made. We finished map 1. Again, this is the best of 5 series, so we will see at least 2 more maps, a search and destroy and a control. But I mean, if you're getting any further than that, say we do get an S&D going the way of Team Andalex, for example, because they look good earlier on in that. do you want to end up at another hard point and hoping to and needing to take it to stay in the series? God, you just got rolled, even with the positive encouragement that we're giving back here.
I think if we look like the fundamentals of what went right there for Team Portal, you know, in terms of rotations, because this is one of the key things. I mean, people can maybe make fun of us in the chat for saying, why are these guys talking about the rotations so much? It is just so important, and I think we saw that early on. Team Portal, they managed to rotate pretty early on from P2 to P3. They recognized how important that rotation was because obviously they've already built momentum early on, you know, that they've got that down to come in from that rotation from P2 to P3 and actually win it. It was, I think that might well have been the final nail in the coffin pretty early on in the game. Like, when they go up by about 100 points or so, it's not quite insurmountable, but I would say it's highly unlikely that you're going to come back from that kind of scoreline.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, well, I think that Team Andalex are fully aware of the fundamentals that are important because straight away off the start, they didn't challenge P1, they rotated the map for P2, and that's like a classic, like almost legendary tactic of like, if you want to be on that side of the map, so they prioritize that. They get it a little bit wrong, perhaps give up too much of P1, but the fact that they did that says that they're aware of the important fundamentals here. So the fact that they then just didn't capitalize on them from there and start to enact them from there just says to me that maybe they just lost their way a little bit, maybe lost their head, their cool.
Yeah, we'll see. That hard point, though, was certainly a statement out of Team Portal in map number 1. They are very happy with that. Reminder, if you folks at home, if you've been here basically all day, you've been watching best of 3s. This is a best of 5, so a little bit different for the final. We will see a control in map number 3 for the very first time today, and it should be interesting to see how that shakes up the series. Nonetheless, though, search and destroy on firing range. That is the next endeavor that we have in this best of 5. Andy, I mean, what are we expecting to see for this one?
I mean, for me, both of these sides came out on top in their respective search and destroys. So 6-3 if you're MrDalekJD and co. 6-0 if you were Team Andalex. But for me, as much as there was plenty of confidence in the search and destroy if you were Team Andalex, for DalekJD and co, they had to deal with that power piece earlier on, which was Diana. And one of the rounds was an ace from herself in almost instantaneous fashion. So again, I'm still leaning with my prediction. They showed me good in that first game. I'm sticking with them to take this S&G.
You know, I think my predictions might well be a caster curse at this point. I mean, no, it's very early on to call it. You know, we've seen Call of Duty matches. I mean, you and I have casted dozens, hundreds of Call of Duty matches over the course of our respective careers, and we know that it's too early to call it at this point, but I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good after that map, I'll tell you that much. I don't think Team Trigger will either. Maybe they'll feel better here about firing range, search and destroy as we get into this one. This is going to be a bit of a slower pace as we get into firing range particularly. That A-bomb site, it's very hard to take because that long range of sight, and you're seeing that right now on the minimap. Adrian is there. He should just have full control over it.
Yeah, 100% sniper in hand, the ZRG. And, shot comes back from somewhere. Jake picking up the first blood onto Ikra.
Adrian, no, we're going to respond. Nicely done on towards deck, and that's the long range that I was talking about, Andy, right? It's good A control. But I also like these adaptations that we're seeing. These are what we've been talking about all day when it comes to search and destroy, recognizing when you need to change up your strategy, and that's what we're seeing right now from Team Portal. But look at that, Andalex, he's ready for it. He's already picked up the first frag. Good trade coming in, though, from Jake. His brother has fallen, and now 2 versus 2 we go.
Andalex does his job there at least, managing to get one and delaying the bomb plant, which now will eventually come through. Opportunity there for that to go a different way. Adrian here in a 1v2. Sniper rifle player, though. Oh, goodness me, we've seen a couple of those hits so far today already, and that wasn't far off.
Adrian, this will be his Phase 5 audition. Get it in for Call of Duty Mobile, looking for the kill, and unfortunately just not going to find it. MrDalekJD, I think, has a more practical weapon for that engagement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen Adrian hit some absolute snappers already this afternoon, but you're asking yourself a little bit much there, young man. Anyway, we're going to round 2. It will again be Team Andalex on the defense, Team DalekJD on the offense, and, well, they're not going to see each other for quite some time, it looks like, because they've gone to opposite sides of the map.
This benefits Team Portal, doesn't it, really? They've got a free plant towards B. The question I have in mind, Andy, is kind of how quickly they realise they have this free real estate on the B site. Yeah. And do they get the bomb down?
Yeah, well, Adrian's backing on off as well, so he's looking for a different angle in on this. The bomb is being planted. Does that go down? It does indeed. So 45 seconds on the clock, and Adrian hits a snapper.
Nicely done from Adrian. Those quick scopes that we wanted to see, and Andalex follows up with another one. So as far as a retake is concerned, It's not far off, a 4 versus 2 situation, but Jake comes in with 2 and evens the odds, makes the situation much more manageable. And now for Adrian and Sparrow. Got to find a way into the site, got to locate Jake and Deck, because you've only got 20 seconds left. It's a fair bit of time, but still, you've got to make it happen. And Jake potentially looking for the ace. He's going to get denied it. Now 1 versus 1 between Adrian and Deck, and the latter will pick it up. The bomb is down. It looks shaky at first, but Jake wins that round.
Jake with a ridiculous performance there. Picks up 3, nearly the ace as well. Sets it up for his teammate to trade out. If you want to talk about huge impactful kills, look no further than that young man right there. Absolutely performs. And, well, this time round, everyone is on their way to B except for Sparrow, who's hanging back in mid. This could get real noisy really, really quickly.
We call these situations double blinds, where these guys, they don't know whether each other have gone. They're just going to hit each other. 4 versus 4 scenario. Nice nade over the top, though, from Andalek to pick up the first blood. And a good response, actually, from their teammate to pick up a second. Jake now in a spot of bother. Not in the best position, trying to get ratted out of that corner building. I don't think you even need to stress about it. Look at this! Oh, Sierra, this is dirty, getting that out.
I'm not going to lie, this is part of the thing that I love about Call of Duty Mobile. We see a mix of everything. There's a freeze grenade there, heartbeat sensor. I mean, we're just going to see everything on the field. And, well, we spoke about the quality that these two twins have brought throughout this afternoon. Jake in particular, he's just going to back on up, ring some shots out, make some noise, but the bomb is being rotated on over to A, and there will be no defenders to stop them if they move quickly.
Good rotation coming out here from Team Portal. Probably the best thing they could do in this scenario, to be honest. Get the bomb down, put a timer on the round. Really give yourself autonomy. But still, the numbers in favor here of Team Air Trigger. And here we go. Jake gets first, but doesn't recognize the second is there. And that's going to be an easy trade coming out from Adrian. So now the 1 versus 1. The twins split in half. And Liam at least has the secrecy on his hand.
He does, and Adrian will slide on past him, and he gets the first, and Liam lines up the second, and he beams him a clutch out of one of the twins. Beautiful stuff indeed. I mean, these two are bringing some heat. If it's not Jake, you can rely on Liam. They're the only 2 kills he's had, but what a time to have them.
Good time to wake up here in this game. 3-0 start coming out from Team Portal. Might remind you as well, guys, that they are on the offense. And generally speaking, in Call of Duty history, that's the harder side to be on. So as far as this search and destroy is going, pretty good start.
Very impressive out of this JD side. And Liam wants to get aggressive here. He's scouting for information from the tower, and he will now see Sparrow. And it's a bit messy, it's a bit all over, but look at the rotation here from Adrian on the side.
Adrian could well be the playmaker here. Has to be careful, though, that he doesn't get caught off guard by Andalek. Or by Deck Games, excuse me. Elsewhere, Dalek going to pick up that first blood. He sees the second. Is he ready for this fight, though? Has the support coming on the way from Jake, and now he's more than confident enough to take it. It's the car bomb on towards Sparrow, and now the numbers here much in favor of one team. But no, Liam's actually going to fall, and Andalek could well put a spoiler on this entire play.
He could, and I love this. Just back on off a little bit. No need to be aggressive. Buy time. Adrian on the flip side of the map, and those shots are a bit too quick. Oh, the nade, though, could be absolutely spot on. Deck, though, diving out the other side to stay up. Andalek needs help. Adrian needs to come and arrive.
And I think they might. Adrian in from behind. Is Call of Duty timing on his side? I think he's at least spotted the players out. Bomb's been retrieved, but they might just well run straight to Adrian.
Oh, goodness me. Oh, Adrian snaps. Absolutely no right to win that gunfight. I don't even think he recognized that Deck was there. He's going to back off. I don't mind this play. He's going to just hold back just a little bit and allow the bomb to go down, give himself the information about where he needs to be next, because right now he has no information, but that will ring the alarm bells. Adrian then to cross the map, potentially clutch up a 1v2. We've seen him pull off some huge plays, but it's up against Dalek and Jake, who've also brought a lot to the tournament this afternoon.
All right, Adrian. 1v2 now. He's been spotted out by Jake. Oh, not enough shots to get the kill just yet. Jake going to evade him for the moment. And now there should be a 2 versus 1. 15 seconds left, though. I mean, there wasn't really much time to make that work anyway. But good effort.
Yeah, no, and I love it out of Jake as well. He's trying to essentially back off and buy more time, and then even if he does lose that gunfight, it's a very small window to lose the round there. So Adrian unlucky in the end, but it's 4-0. If you're looking at this, DalekJD and co will be on their final attack round before the switch, and they're looking real good for this one.
Can they get a flawless offense around would secure it? And they're going towards A. This time around, they've scared Adrian away, and that is crucial. That sight line no longer be watched.
Yeah, I love the setup here. Jake just over the top of the bomb planter. The first kill comes on through as well. Bomb will go down. So there's a 3v4 with 40 seconds on the clock. Good luck to Team Anderlecht.
Second blood comes through as well on towards Sparrow. So for Sierra and Anderlecht here, this is just going to be really tough, isn't it? Shots going out though. Anderlecht making an attempt of it, but Liam with the better weapon for the scenario. And now for Sierra, just try and have some fun with it. Throws the nade out, but that's not really going to do much. 20 seconds left here. I think Sierra's just stuck between many rocks and many hard places.
Yeah, not many great spots to go. Maybe see if you can get a couple of like... Oh, okay.
Nope.
No. Yeah, nope is the answer to that one. DalekJD will clean it up. So all 5 attack rounds won, and you spoke about it before. Traditionally, that is the harder side in Search and Destroy. So if you are Team Anderlecht right now, you need to show that it's actually the easier side this afternoon and go out and get some confidence plays, and the entire team on their way to B. They know where they want to play this.
Sierra with the heartbeat sensor once again. That will give them the information required to figure out what's going on the B site. But what do they do with that information? That's key. Tension rising here between the two teams. Utility being thrown out, but nothing enough to entry onto the site just yet.
No, don't mind this though. Try and weaken up the opposition and don't get bottlenecked like this though. Liam's going to have the entire enemy team in front of him, but doesn't do enough damage to bring down one individual. So a 4v3, first blood to Team Anderlecht.
I'm shocked that he didn't even walk away with a single frag there. Perhaps his teammates can finish off the job that he couldn't. Even Deck hasn't got anything just yet. The odds stacked against them, the numbers also. And all of these shots going out, none of them resulting in the kill just yet, but at least they're doing a good enough job of keeping these guys away from the site. And there we go, finally, Deck going to get one, but a good trade coming on through from Adrian. The site hasn't changed, the target hasn't changed, it's still looking towards this B site.
Yeah, I was wondering if at some point Team Anderlecht were going to back off and use their escape route. They decide not to. Bullets do not go through bomb cases, and Sparrow's able to step on over and provide fire support. Dalek will slide in. It's all cleaned up by Anderlecht, and last one alive, Jake, for the 1v2 with a bomb to defuse.
Would be a 1v3 for him here. He's getting the first one, as you say, so now down to 1 versus 2. He's stuck between 2 different players, though. Nicely done from Anderlecht and Adrian to sandwich him in there. The closing moments, a tense standoff on the B site, but it is going to be Team Air Trigger who come out on top.
Maybe attack is just the way, Brody. 6 rounds so far. 6 offenses coming on through. And Team Anderlecht need to make them all count. They will go forward again, and again, B, their target. This time, though, a little less aggressive. I was about to say less aggressive, and then all 4 of them are just ganged up together. Heartbeat sensors out, and they know there isn't much of a defense here.
The distance on that heartbeat sensor, by the way, Andy, it's very long. You can see quite a lot. It gives you a ton of information there. They now know that somebody is located in the middle of the map. They'll be wary of that, and they know that nobody, more importantly, is inside tyres. So they've got a lot of information to work with here. First 2 shots going out. It's going to be Jake firing off some warning shots, making them uncomfortable, but they've also bought some time here, enough that MrDalekJD can enact this flank. But again, it's premature. The shots not going to result in a kill just yet. Now the Molotov going out. There's one. Potential for a second as well. Hasn't spotted out Anderlecht, but he's going to get the free kill on towards Adrian. And he's still in the Hornet's nest. Nobody stung him. Finally, Anderlecht takes him down.
Yeah, unfortunately there for Anderlecht. He's done such a good job of playing Overwatch from that position throughout these couple of rounds. But right there, glanced away at the wrong minute. Dalek slides in and cleans up 2. So it's unfortunate. A reminder that if Iku doesn't clutch this 1v3, this game goes to Dalek and Co.
Nicely done. 1v3, now more plausible. That's it though. Deck with the pre-aim, and that will be it. 6-1 victory here for Team Portal. The dominance in this series will continue.
Yeah, it will indeed. I mean, I felt like a couple of the earlier rounds were very close. I felt like there was a good battle between the wills of the different sides and the strategies of the different sides. A couple of the later attack rounds, though, for Team Dalek, Team Portal, looked very, very convincing, though, very one-sided, and in the end, they cleaned it all up.
Just impressive. I think those 5 attacking rounds in a row, as you say, Andy, just overwhelming. I think, you know, fortunately in Search and Destroy, we don't have to deal with specialists and streaks, so you don't get any of that momentum from the 5 rounds straight. But, you know, nonetheless, just really impressive, I think. Great teamwork coming out and good adaptations as well. I know we keep on saying in Search and Destroy today, but I think that, again, it showed through for Team Portal. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, there's nothing as well quite like having, you know, we talk about the lack of score streaks, the lack of specialists that come into Search and Destroy, but there's nothing like having the mental edge, knowing you're in that lead, knowing that your plays are working. So, yeah, definitely taking what we discussed as being the weaker side, the attack side, but making it their strength.
Well, you know, I think, as you say, you can turn it in your favour by getting the bomb down, and I think that kind of decisiveness was what worked out really well for Team Portal early on in the game. You can see at the replay package again some of those incredible plays that we did see. This was one of the most impressive ones, I think, you know, recognising that they weren't in the best situation and making the rotation over towards A when necessary. Good plays like that, that is what you love to see, and I think it is highly impressive the way that all 4 players at the moment, we said it earlier on, following the first semi-final for them, they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they absolutely are. But if I was going to try and highlight an individual, I think you're looking at Jake. I think he's the only player on the board who makes it into double figures. He made that huge 2v4 play where he essentially almost gets an ace. He picks up 3, sets up the final kill for Deck to come on through, essentially clutching a 2v4 between them. So a very, very good performance out of that young man right there.
Indeed. Well, 2-0. It's a good job this one is a best of 5, isn't it? Because if it wasn't, it would be over. Of course, every match prior to this one has been a best of 3, and every single one has been a 2-0. So that means, this one being a best of 5, it's time for our first control and last control of the day. It is going to be epic. I can't wait to see this one in Call of Duty mobile setting, because as we said, you know, we were saying it earlier on, this is much more fast-paced than the kind of control that you will see in like your multiplayer Call of Duty titles.
Yeah, no, it is. You get that pace in this mode. It is a great mode. And the thing is for me here as well, we've cast a lot of Call of Duty in our time. We've seen a lot of comebacks from 2-0 down, and you know, we do like to try and be positive here on the desk. Control is a way to well and truly come back into a series. We spoke at the end of map 1 about how Team Andalex finally looked like they had some fire and some steel about them, could build themselves back in. If they bring the momentum from the end of that in their respawn into the Control, we could well see the start of a reverse sweep here.
Yeah, I feel like we've actually avoided saying that throughout the entire today. Somehow we avoided the phrase reverse sweep, but it's okay. We've reached it in the grand finals. We found a use for it. Yeah, this would require a reverse sweep. That's 3 maps back to back from being 2-0 down. The antithesis of a sweep. That's why we call it that. But it is going to be an interesting one to see whether or not this team Air Trigger roster can dig deep and find it. Control would be a good start for them. You know, again, we've said this before. We've seen flashes of brilliance from this Team Air Trigger roster. We certainly saw it earlier on when they faced Team 165 Hz. The question we had coming into the series was whether or not they'd be able to come out with the same fire. And I think, you know, for everything they've done, there's been an equal response from Team Portal. They've been brilliant at answering them.
Yeah, as I said, I thought that there were a couple of very close rounds, for example, in that Search and Destroy, especially at the start. I felt like there was a real battle between the two sides. But every time, you know, you think about clutching up a 2v4, you think about rotating the bomb away at important moments, there was just a step ahead out of this Team Portal squad. So it's tough. I want my Team Portal prediction to come on through. Of course I do.
You're biased, caster, mate.
I also want to see a Game 5. I also want to see a series where both teams have gone hammer and tongue at each other, gone the distance, and we get that decider at the end. So, yeah, I'd love to see this Control be a real bloodbath.
I think we all win a Game 5, don't we? Everyone loves the Game 5s. You know, it's the tense situation, especially given today as well, because of the change in the Call of Duty mobile settings, specifically to Search and Destroy. There is always the propensity for a Game 5 round 11, which we love those kind of standoff situations. It is just awesome to see, and that's, you know, they're kind of a staple of Call of Duty esports. One of the things that I think really does separate Call of Duty esports out from other esports out there. And yeah, it's going to be great to see. But Control, that is where we're going next. Our first control of the day. It is going to be Summit as the battleground for this one. Perhaps our final map of the tournament.
Indeed. Well, we are off and away, and Team DalekJD and co have had no answers to their dominance. Will we see any here on Summit?
All right, well, it's going to be Team Air Trigger starting off here on the defense. And it's going to be a split defense as well as a split offense coming on through. Liam with the first blood. Does he spot the second one? Zero just in the corner, but Sparrow just jumps down. Free kill here for Liam, but he still hasn't dealt with a threat that is Zero. They've just sat there in the corner, mate.
Yeah, around the corner, and wins the gunfight. I think he had something in hand for just a moment, but manages to switch back out. Iker there doing a great job of shutting down Liam, a man who really has looked good so far this afternoon. Dalek will pick one up, though. Eventually traded out, but that's 2 ticks of progress over on A.
Well, kill Stelton come through here for a Team Air Trigger. It's nicely done on the offense. Nice flank coming through from Sparrow to get the trade on towards Deck. That should open up a lane here potentially for the defensive side. Another kill coming through from Sparrow. And so far, generally speaking, the kills are starting to come through from Air Trigger, but a couple more in favour of Team Portal. And maybe this A push will start to come together now. They're looking to get that 30 progression through. They get this. It's an extra 60 seconds on the clock. And now a chance of B.
Yeah, no, and to be honest, this is kind of traditionally how Control can go. One side is very focused by the offensive side. They take that, get that extra time on the clock, then it turns into a battle for the final side. So nothing out of the ordinary here. The one thing that would concern me if I was on Team Andalex is that you're 5 lives down already.
I will say, B is significantly harder to grab here in Call of Duty Mobile than A is. But they're making it look easy. Adrian now the last player left alive as the rest of his team now off the respawn point. Jake going to deal with him, and now they can just stack the point. Of course, the more players you get on the point, the faster that point will go by. And they know that. Look at 3 players on the point. Hunter Killer Drone being sent out by the teammate now as well to try and assist the team in holding down this point. Deck for 2 more. Now that second tick of aggression starting to come through. What an offensive start this has been. Perhaps now some resistance from Sparrow and Adrian. The latter of which has fallen, and Sparrow now able to hold on. That third tick of aggression hasn't come through, but what a dent that entire push has done in the lives.
Yeah, 100%. Team Andalex are down by 11 lives, and offense is typically quite difficult in Control, so you can see that there's a lot of investment here when it comes to utility and when it comes to streaks and so on. And right now, Sparrow just trying to dive down and provide some final pressure. 6-18, this is good as done.
Liam gets to almost in for 3, and there it is. That final tick of progression will come through. That's a clean start here on Summit Control.
It is indeed. I mean, the look that we just gave each other on the desk, that is brutal. No slowing down. Liam on 12-4 in 1 round of Control. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very impressive scoreline indeed. It has the Death Machine in hand already.
Well, this is an indomitable start. Can they continue it on, though? Adrian looking to win this duel with Jake up top. It would be nice, especially as his teammates have fallen around him. Nicely done from Adrian. Now perhaps can provide some support to the rest of the team here. Reminder for you folks at home. Again, it is now going to be Team Air Trigger on the offense, but they have no map control at the moment.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Grenade to aim to go over the top there. I think bounces off the teammate, comes straight back at him. Sparrow managed to shut down Liam, so that first tick of B progress should come in. It does indeed, but you can kind of see here that Team Dalek and Co, they've decided to sit back onto A. That's what they want to protect, not going to send too many resources over to B.
Kills coming through now. B might well be captured, but here comes MrDalekJD. Has the Annihilator, and that will save B for the moment. It isn't quite out over just yet, though. And Alex is still over here. Oh! MrDalekJD continuing with this Annihilator. Liam also here now with the assistance, and it felt like B was a done deal, but it's not.
I know, somehow managed to hold on to this. I spoke about how they hadn't really invested the resources. Dalek goes in with his Annihilator and cleans up everything and hits the Shock RC as well. Will eventually be dropped by Andalex himself. Some captain on captain love, but Liam there to trade things out again. And goodness me, this is just turning more and more into a one-sided battle. Because the thing is here, if you're Team Andalex, you have to capture something in the next 40 seconds.
Well, this might be it. They get some kills, there is a potential path on towards B. They have to be cautious because Jake is coming in on a flank and they need to deal with him before he does any damage. And of course, you've got to deal with the players up front as well. And MrDalekJD on the point now. Trade starting to go down. We're seeing Andalex utilising his Death Machine. He is going to be shut down and Liam in for 2. The timer has been stopped. That's because one player in Syrah is sitting on B, or on A, excuse me. They have been shut down and now the timer's starting to activate again.
Indeed, and Adrian here, going to slide, pick up Liam. That's an important player removed from the board. B should come through though, so this should apply an extra 60 seconds onto the clock, and that is only a good thing if you are Team Andalex. You are 2 lives down and lacking a little bit in utility, because right now, if Team Dalek want to, they could pull out a Purifier, they could pull out a Death Machine, or a Hunter Killer. That's
the question, isn't it? Do you utilize those specialist weapons right now? I mean, is it worth it, or do you want to save it for a moment where you do actually need to clutch later down the line? But right now, 12 versus 12 scenario, 80 seconds on the clock or so, that's well enough time for a Team Air Trigger to make this happen, especially since they have 2 players on the point, but they need to deal with one of them, and Jake can't get it done, and Alex and Adrian combining for 2, and now the pressure really starting to mount on this point. Liam, what can he do about it? He's able to pick up the first one, looking for some more. His teammates are pretty far away from the scenario. In from behind with the SKS comes Syrah, and now a 10 versus 7, how this round is flipped on its head.
Has it indeed? I mean, a moment ago, I was ready for Team Dalek to just absolutely run all over this, and out comes a Purify, and it comes to nothing. Poor investment, awful investment of your specialist there. Sparrow goes huge, shutting everything down. A is captured. One apiece.
The thing is, the question we asked, and I brought it up, right, is going into that final situation, how much do you actually invest there, right? Uses the Purifier, recognizes that, hey, maybe this is a moment for a clutch, but in a 5 versus, what was it, 9? I don't know. That's a Hail Mary play if I've ever seen one, and it does not work out. So that means the potential Purifier. I mean, look, I know they've still got a bit on board, Andy, but it's out of the question now.
Yeah, that's a poor collapse if you are Team Dalek, if you are Team Portal. And now Team Adlex will feel motivated by that. They'll feel reinvigorated. Again, we spoke about they are a streaky team. We saw it in the Hardpoint. They struggle to get going at times, but once they are moving, they can really pack a punch.
Well, this is good utilization now coming out the death machine from Sparrow. Unfortunately, while it was a good attempt, it does get shut down there. Now players from Team Portal on this B zone. They want to make some significant pressure. They do actually get that second tick through, but I was going to say, wave of gunfights now coming through for Team Air Trigger. That hasn't happened though, as MrDalekJD and Liam now going to combine for 3. This B zone should now fall by the wayside.
Should indeed, and that'll give you a whole 2 minutes 15 to chase after A. You're 3 lives up, so it's looking good. 2 streaks in hand as well if you are Mr. Dalek. We've seen him put that shock RCXD to use a couple of times this afternoon, and out comes the Hunter Killer. You hear correctly. Will it pick up a kill though?
Well, the kill feed is lighting up yellow. And there's that shock RC car. It's going to keep the player in place for Jake to get the kill. A is coming pretty quickly here, 23 versus 15. Can any blue players touch before it falls? There are only 2 players on it, so it's relatively slow. And here comes the death machine play, but Adalex is going to get shut down before it even touches a single player. And now Liam in for 2 as well, just a moment away from the A capture coming through. Adrian's going to touch, but he does no more than that. Shut down, and now it is Team Portal on championship point.
Yeah, and right there, you could almost feel it. You could almost hear it ourselves. Team Portal going, call in everything. They use the Hunter Killer drone, the Shock RCXD. They bring out multiple specialists, and they run over things. And by the way, Liam, 27 and 14. He has not slowed down.
What a player Liam has been so far this tournament. What a player they've all been, to be fair. Now, the utilization coming out. Zero thinks this is the time for the Gravity Vortex gun. Wants to kind of assert dominance early on, and this is the time. A 2-piece coming on through. That's a good start in terms of getting themselves on the B. And even more is being thrown at this point. Everything but the kitchen sink at this point. The death machine comes on down. They want to capture B early, Andy.
Yeah, and time will tell whether or not that's a bit premature to be bringing out all of your utility, because if you're Team Dalek and co, you're not far off, and you've got a lot to bring to this party later on. 2 ticks of B are in though. Dalek will be held up. And Syrah does indeed clean up the kill. So a very clean start out of Team Andalex.
Is that a K9 unit I'm seeing on the field as well coming out of Adrian? I didn't even know that was a I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know that was specialist. I thought that was a streak. Regardless, it's there, and it's doing some serious damage. Of course, it does have a very short lifespan on the map, but it'll do enough to assert some map control for Adrian. How much though? That's the question. MrDalekJD is going to come through 1. The trade's starting to come through now, and Syrah brings a sentry gun down on towards A. That will zone so many players off. Liam knows how quickly this needs to go. Has to reload, but this is a ton of damage being done. I don't think that sentry's going to last long.
No, I don't think so. Actually, it's almost a great play, slightly fractionally late in the sense that let's play slip past. 1 more tick of progress needed for Team Andalex, so you do have the life advantage. For me, this is all about how much Dalek invests, and you can see those Hunter Killers starting to come out.
I don't know if the investment is worth it. You've got a round 5 potentially coming up. There's only 1 tick of progression now required for Team Air Trigger to close out this control round and send us to a round number 5. But nonetheless, I mean, dogged are this Team Portal roster. They're not giving up. Consistently find themselves on the point. Syrah now has found his way down towards the control room though, and wants to try and play his life, waiting for the rest of the roster to make their way, but they just can't get past square one, Andy. They're being shut down at the front door, being slammed in their face, and now we find ourselves in a 15 versus 13. Life still in favor of Team Edric.
Yeah, the thing for me here that Team Andalex are doing is they're arriving in 1s. They just need to slow it down for a second. You've got this life advantage, plenty of time, still 90 seconds on the clock. Arrive together. Stop throwing yourself in through a bottleneck in 1s. You're just going to get eaten up all day.
Here we go. Trade starting to go down. Jake in for 2. Has a bit more effort to do though, still a couple of players to deal with, and it's going to be number 3 for Jake. If any time to go off, it is now. Give him number 4, and it will be. Deck is there to help on out, and it's going to be a yellow kill feed. This round is still not over, but we're now in an 11 versus 9. Utility on the board, and a ton of it for Team Portal.
Yeah, Team Portal indeed, just looking to see this one off. Remember, they win this, they take the whole tournament of this afternoon, but Team Hairtrigger is going absolutely nowhere. They're going to contest this to the very end, 10v5.
Down to your last set of respawns, of course. An important thing to note here is these guys will continue to respawn up even if they do go down below that 5. But it's Deck at the door! You were talking about the Purifier, and what a time it is to turn up the heat right about now. Down to the final 3, and how do they get in?
Well, Deck's just going to hold them at the door. It's a 9v1, and as Sparrow Hail Marys it onto the point, it is over, ladies and gentlemen. Team Portal will come on top and be the champions of your Asus 6D Showmatch Ultimate Showdown. Congratulations
to Team Portal and MrDalekJD, the entire roster, Jake Twin, Deck Games, Liam Twin, all of them deserve that victory. What an indomitable victory there. Apart from the control, we will say they had to fight tooth and nail for that victory, but the first couple of maps, I mean, that was a showing and a half from the roster.
Yeah, it really was. I really thought that, honestly, I thought that round was going to go the way of Team Andalex at one point. They looked really solid for it. They needed 1 tick and had about 2 minutes on the clock. And they just started to get ahead of themselves a little bit. They're throwing themselves down the walkway multiple times. There was no concerted hit as a team, which they needed to do to bleed out utility, let alone then go again to try and get the point.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you really can't take that away from Team Portal because, as you say, there was about 2 minutes there where those guys, I mean, it was probably less than that. I think I'm probably about like 90 seconds or so, we've given how much time we had at the end. But yeah, about 2 minutes or so where these guys were defending the point and there was only the 1 tick of progression required, Andy. Just that is insane.
Yeah, it is. And don't get me wrong, it was offenses largely on top, so that next round could go absolutely anywhere. And there was a lot of utility available to Team Dalek if they wanted to use that. But, I mean, yeah, I'm very surprised indeed that Team Triggers, Andalex and his team did not manage to see that one off there. Again, the hard point perhaps starts one way and then it's a bit mixy. The S&D, again, you got a couple of decent rounds, but mostly one way. That control, that's the kind of game we'd be looking for.
Yeah, that was grand final. Well, yeah, that control, just brilliant. So back and forth, and you know, I will say before we talk about Team Portal, props to Team Hairtrigger because you know they needed to step things up before that game number 3, and albeit yes, still they got 3-0'd. At the end of the day, I think they most certainly did. There was just a few key difference makers. You know, like maybe again it comes down to sometimes like specialist usage and stuff like that. You know, what really did separate the two rosters.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we saw that things like the Purifier come out there at the end. Deck just holding essentially the whole team in the doorway, in the position that he's in. Unless his teammates behind him fall, he's relatively protected and can just hold the opposing team there, bleed that clock down a bit. But you can see it on your screen there, like 1 minute 30 left. Lives are in a good position. 1 tick left to go. Like, I mean, that really could have gone the other way.
All it takes is 1 good hit. And I think it's very easy to underestimate a team there on the offense in that position because they were in the better position. All it takes is 1 good coordinated hit for you to break in there, get that last tick of progression. It didn't happen, and massive props to Team Portal really for defending in the way they did because it wasn't like it wasn't without effort, right? I mean, Team Hairtrigger found their way in a fair few times, but every single time it was Team Portal there. You know, that maybe they had to rely on 2 pieces or 3 pieces to get it done, but get it done nonetheless that they did. So again, congratulations to Team Portal, 3-0. What a day it has been for this roster. Well, I think we'll waste no time talking about what we think. Let's hear what MrDalekJD thinks. Let's bring in him for a quick interview here. Dalek, mate, congratulations. You've won today's tournament.
Thank you very much, guys. Honestly, did not expect it going into this, but really happy that we managed to get the dub.
I mean, you've not only got the dub, you didn't drop a single map all afternoon. You guys looked phenomenal out there. What's the secret to your team's success then?
I think the secret is these guys that I'm playing with, I've been friends with them for like the last 10 years, and we met on Call of Duty, funny enough, with Black Ops 2. So like back in the day when League play was a massive deal, we all loved to play that. And I guess also the comp scene with Black Ops 2 was just, it was an amazing year for COD. So even though it's been like nearly a decade since that happened, we still remember a lot of like the anchor points on certain Black Ops 2 maps and just how to play them. And also when it comes to like Hardpoint as well, just remembering that we've got to go to the next point and we should maybe leave this point, run to the next one, and make sure we're suited and ready for the team for that next movement. I think that really helped us out a lot. But that final game, I really think anyone could have won that because it was very, very difficult.
Yeah, indeed it was. I'm so glad that you brought up as well Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and kind of the competitive community. You know, it is incredible, isn't it, to have a kind of a game like Call of Duty Mobile? And I want to ask you, you know, how different is it to play here in a Call of Duty Mobile setting? Because for me, at least, it feels very familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel very familiar. It feels a lot like you're just playing normal COD. But obviously, since it's mobile, there are a few things that you need to get used to and that feel a little bit differently. But I think once we got a few games on our belt, we really warmed up. We, in between games, we were talking tactics on like what score streaks to run, what specialists and stuff like that. And I think at the end of the day, I think we all done really, really well. Like we, honestly, all of our team are very surprised that we won it. And massive GGs to all the teams that we played against, especially those final games. They were really, really good.
All right. Well, again, congratulations, MrDalekJD, and the rest of your team as well, who we should definitely give a shout out to. Again, congratulations on the victory today.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right, no worries. Well, that was MrDalekJD with the final interview. Again, you know, congratulations to those guys, deserved winners of today's tournament. But if you guys need a little recap about how everything kind of went down, we'll take a look at the final bracket at the end of today. Andy, what the hell happened?
I mean, we got a lot of sweeps at the start. It was very one-sided to begin with. I mean, Team Portal dominated Team MediaTek. Team Air Trigger dominated Team 165Hz. But on the other side of things, it was the Diana show for Team MediaTek in that third place playoff. Now, grand finals was, I mean, that final map was one hell of a battle and a wonderful, wonderful showing from all players on the map. A great watch indeed, but it will be Team Portal.
Lads, I don't know how we just won that. I really, really don't know how we just won that. What the heck just happened there? Oh my god, I'm trying to get my cam link to work on stream right now. I don't know why it's not working. But my god. There we go. The camera's back. Oh my god, guys, if you watch that live, right? Thank you so much for supporting your boy, Team Portal. I don't know how we did that. We absolutely steamrolled the competition. And when that team looked so dang good, how we beat them so badly is anyone's guess. I really don't know. If only they had the comms going at the time of all that going on, because man, oh man, that would have been funny to listen to. But that was quite something. That was quite something. Let's go, boys. My very first competitive Call of Duty mobile tournament. We won it. We won it. Just goes to show I'm not just a zombies player, you know? The skills are there no matter what mode we're playing. No matter what mode we're playing. But also, a massive thank you to my teammates as well, Jake Twin, Liam Twin, and Deck. Without them, we wouldn't have won, and they absolutely killed it. So, they absolutely killed it. Without them, I would not have won this. That was incredible. I can't believe it. It felt like I was playing like a real COD Champs final, but in mobile. It was kind of crazy. But I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'm going to leave this stream up as a VOD for you guys to watch. And enjoy if you missed it live, but if you've skipped through, then obviously you see that we won it. The mobile king, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. Mad. Right, I'm going to leave the stream going just for them to talk about a little bit more and get rid of my face cam. Oh wait, no, that's them. That's them. That's done. That's it. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please drop a thumbs up. There will be a zombies video coming out this evening. I'm cracked with a HD40. I mean, thank you, COD Mobile Zombies. And speaking of COD Mobile Zombies, we might be back with a video on that because it comes out in like 3 days' time again. So yeah, but that was amazing. I think they're going to show the highlights if you want to see that. And yeah, we'll see the highlights from my games and then we'll wrap it up. But thank you so much for watching, guys.